Hello and welcome to Durand Park, home of the Bourne Braves, and welcome to the pregame show. I'm Daniel LaRose, joined alongside David Korzenowski. Falmouth has made the trip out to Bourne to square off against their divisional rival. Only the second time this summer that these teams have faced off, so they still have 4 more meetings after this one. And right now, Falmouth is on a little bit of a hot streak. They have won 6 of their last 7, including 2 of their last 4 games being decided by walk-offs. They've been the comeback kids lately. It's been really entertaining to see.
Yeah, Danny, last night, one of the best games of the year, a 3-2 win against Harwich in 10 innings. Walk-off home run for Taylor Smith after the pitchers were locked down. Doesn't get much better than that.
So David mentioned how the pitchers were locked down and how the bats in really the last 3 games in a row have been coming back. And I want to explore that a little bit. Right. How about a little either-or action? You got to pick one of these scenarios. So if you've got an elimination game coming up, and they're throwing their ace. Who are you throwing? Really, who's the Falmouth ace? And you've got to choose between Carmen Majinski and Franco Aleman. Who are you going for?
It's a tough choice. It's close to a coin flip, but I lean for Carmen Majinski, and here is why. He's a strikeout pitcher, and he doesn't get hit as hard. Franco Aleman, despite not allowing an earned run this summer, has given up 6 and 7 hits in his last 2 starts respectively. Majinski has been a strikeout machine. He was virtually untouchable until the 4th inning last night. Only gave up 2 runs on a 2-run bomb. But I think he's the better pitcher, and he's who I would want in an elimination game.
Carmen racked up 10 strikeouts in 5 innings of work yesterday. Pretty incredible. Now for number 2, and of course, got to talk about clutchness. You got bottom of the 9th inning, tie ball game, runner on third with 2 outs. Who do you want at the plate? Taylor Smith, the hero from last night, or Zach DeLoach, the hero from Friday afternoon?
Again, this is such a tough call, but I think I go with DeLoach. He's got the higher average, he plays more, and I think he's more consistent. Because if you look at Taylor Smith, he still doesn't have a single this year. He's kind of a power guy, and he's either a power or a strikeout guy. DeLoach can get you a single, a double, a home run. I think he's who I would want because he's been in that three spot pretty consistently.
Well, Taylor Smith may have been snubbed by David, but he was not snubbed by Katie Florio as he joins us for the pregame to talk about his heroics. Katie. Thank you, Katie and Taylor. So now let's look ahead towards tonight's matchup. On the bump for Falmouth, Chris Gonzalez. Been about a week since he has pitched, and with all the fantastic starting pitching, Chris is trying to insert himself into that mindset as well. Coming off of a pretty good outing his last time out, his first really that was successful of the season.
Yeah, that was against Brewster. He gave up 3 runs in the first inning with another home run, but he was really shut down after that. We've seen him struggle the second time through the order, but I think he's really starting to find his stuff. The one time he really did struggle was against Bourne. It was a 10-2 loss, and he got slapped around in the first 3 innings. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got here in start number 4.
So Chris looking to keep that momentum going, and meanwhile another addition back into the lineup. Hayden Cantrell was gone for about maybe 36 hours, but Falmouth has their spark plug back.
Yeah, he strolled up at about 4:30 in his cargo shorts and his shirt with his keys. He drove here himself. He didn't want to miss more than 1 game, so it's good to have the leadoff man. And they won without him too.
Yep, so they're doing just fine, but don't tell Hayden that because he's a gamer. So first pitch is coming up at 6 p.m. For Katie Florio and David Korzenowski, I'm Daniel LaRose. We'll see you soon.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal. The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Good evening and welcome to Durand Park here in Bourne, Massachusetts, as the Falmouth Commodores head on the road to face their in-division rival, the Bourne Braves. Danny LaRose joined alongside my broadcast partner, David Korzanowski. And David, Commodores, we touched on it in the pregame show, have been red hot, winners of 6 of their last 7, 7-3 in their last 10. Bourne, on the other hand, it's been the opposite.
Yeah, Bourne 2-8 in their last 10 times on the diamond, and really right now it's the tale of two teams in the division. Just about a week ago, these two teams were separated by 2 or 3 points in the West, and now Falmouth, with a couple of wins, could get into first place in the West. Bourne just above Hyannis at 4th.
First time these two teams faced, it was a 3-0 win for the Commodores on June 29th. That was also at Durand Park. As now we will take a look at the batting order for the Commodores. The lineup led off by another recent addition, you could say, after missing only a game. Hayden Cantrell right back in the lineup. He's leading off, and then Blake Dunn follows him, followed by Zach Deloach and Trey Cruz. So the same top 4 that we're used to seeing all summer long.
Absolutely, Danny, and right now they're really hitting their stride. Dunn, the only one out of those first 4 below 300, and he's at 298, so that's exactly what you want to see from the first 4 guys in the order. Deloach has been outstanding. He had another 2 hits last night, and Cantrell back in the lineup. The team definitely has their Energizer Bunny.
We're also seeing Claunch thrown back in there. He was the hero a couple nights ago against Brewster with a game-tying 3-run home run en route to the Falmouth 4-3 win. After him, Taylor Smith, seems like the first time in back-to-back games where he's getting a start. He's back at DH after being last night's hero with the walk-off home run. It's been a lot of comebacks for the Doors and a lot of wins recently. They'll be going up against Mac Lardner, the left-handed pitcher from Gonzaga University. His last time out, he got the victory, went 6 innings, allowed 1 earned run on 6 hits and 3 strikeouts, so pretty sound. Cantrell swings at the first pitch fastball, ropes it into left center field, does exactly what he always does.
Cantrell making up for lost time, right? After the miss yesterday, Tim Tawa was in the leadoff spot, and we've seen him do it so much. Swinging at the first pitch, a fastball from Mac Lardner trying to establish the zone, but he doesn't even get a chance to do that.
A warm and sunny day here in Bourne. Not a cloud in the sky, and the temperature right around 80 degrees. Here's the second pitch of the ball game. Dunn swings at that one and fouls it up into the netting right in front of us. Falmouth sporting their road blacks with the maroon lettering, gray pants. Bourne in their home whites with the red Braves across the front, red numbers on the back. Here's the 0-1 to Blake Dunn, taken down and away. Dunn leads the team in both walks and strikeouts. Has been hitting more frequently lately.
Back-to-back games against Katuitt was 6 for 9 at the plate.
1-1 fouled away.
On the mound for the Bourne Braves is Mac Lardner, 1-1 record this summer and a 1.20 ERA. He's only given up 2 earned runs. His last time out against Wareham, 6 innings of work, 1 earned run, 6 hits, no walks, and 3 strikeouts.
2-1, poked over towards second base. This could be 2. Throw on to second for 1, back to first, no throw, as that one is eaten up over at the shortstop position by Morissette. So a fielder's choice that erases Cantrell from the base paths.
You're not going to see Cantrell and Dunn get out on a double play basically ever unless it's tailor-made and it gets to second or shortstop in a hurry. More of a slower hit ground ball to Jared Poland at second base, but Dunn no problem reaching. They just get the lead runner.
Here comes Zach DeLoach, the left-handed bat for these Commodores. Batting in the 3-hole as he normally does. Up against the lefty in Lardner. Lardner from the stretch. Looks over at Dunn, now comes home. Fastball over the middle for a strike. Defensive alignment for the Bourne Braves. Outfield from left to right, Brendan Rivoli, followed by Judd Fabian, then Kyler Fedko. Infield, you got first baseman by Cade Beloso, second base Jared Poland, shortstop Cody Morissette, third base Xavier Warren. Lardner is pitching in to the catcher Jackson Greer. Check swing by DeLoach, but he definitely went around. Now it's 0-2.
Talking to first base coach Ryan Eiley before the game, he talked about how the third base coach Brett Becker turned his hitting career around, and he said the one thing that changed was a little toe tap. He said he brought his front foot back and then tapped that foot before he came and went around in his swing, and that DeLoach is trying to use that same strategy.
Well, if he's been using it recently, it for sure has worked out. Zach DeLoach had a 7-game hitting streak riding in to Saturday. Got it snapped, or pardon me, into Friday. Got that snapped, and then has hits in his last 2 games. Here's the 0-2. It skips off the plate.
Lardner, a 5.53 ERA during his junior year at Gonzaga. 12 starts, 66 2/3 innings of work. And he throws a lot of strikes, Danny. About a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. 14 free passes, 62 Ks with the Zags.
1-2 the count to DeLoach. Here's the pitch. Just barely outside. Call made by Joe Peters behind home plate. First base is Joe Hinojosa, and their third partner, Al Moscone, at third. Zach DeLoach showing off that he's able to take those 50-50 pitches. That one just barely missed the plate. He's worked the count even, 2-2. Rocking and firing is Lardner, and he gets a changeup to go right through the swing of Zach DeLoach, the first strikeout of the evening, and there are 2 outs and a runner on.
Lardner's kept that very solid strikeout to walk ratio into the summer. That's now his 10th strikeout, and he's only issued 1 walk. It was his first time out against Orleans almost a month ago.
Trey Cruz, the switch hitter, will now step up to the plate. Trey from Rice University, manning the infield, the middle infield, I should say, with Hayden Cantrell tonight. Blake Dunn is running on the first pitch. Cruz is swinging on the first pitch, and it goes out of play. So Dunn will have to head back to first.
Dunn and Cantrell so lethal on the base paths as the Commodores as a team are. Dunn with close to 10 stolen bases. He and Cantrell just so quick.
Blake with another pretty moderately sized lead off of first base. There haven't been any checks over to first yet. Interesting to see from a lefty against the Falmouth team not to be checking up on the runners. Another pitch comes home. Cruz bats it foul, so it's quickly 0-2. Trey, like Zach DeLoach before him, had a hitting streak that was snapped over the weekend. 5 games with a hit, snapped on Saturday against Brewster. Since then, he's hitless in his last 2, 0 for his last 8. Trying to avoid 0 for his last 9. watches a fastball run down and in.
Yeah, Crew's been a little streaky this year. Seems like he's either putting together a 5-game hit streak or he has a hitless spell. I believe he was something like 0 for 15 before that hit streak started.
Yeah. 1-2 misses down and away, so a lot of these breaking balls not really finding the strike zone, and they're not getting up far enough. Fastball has been good, though.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get a swinging third strike, keep it low in the zone, don't give him anything to hit. And he can afford a couple throwaway pitches with an 0-2 count, but now less room for error.
Now it's 2-2, and here's the pitch. It is lined out into right center field. That one will stay up long enough for the right fielder to make the grab. That's Kyler Fedko coming on in right center, and that will retire the side. A loud out number 3, but an out nonetheless, as the Commodores score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and strand a runner on first base. To the bottom of the first we go. 0-0.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Welcome back to Durand Park. To the home first we go with a 0-0 game. Towing the rubber for the Falmouth Commodores, Chris Gonzalez, the lefty out of Stetson, sporting an 0-1 record, 10.12 ERA through his 3 appearances and 10 2/3 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts to 3 walks. Biggest problem against him, gets hit around quite a bit, has allowed 16 hits, and although that ERA is high, it has sunk a little bit over his outings.
Yeah, he gave up a 3-run home run in his last time out against Brewster early in that game, but then he settled down, and that was really the only mistake that he made. This is also his first start on the road, going up against Bourne for the 2nd time.
First pitch he throws to Judd Fabian is taken down and in. Falmouth is 1-1 against Bourne. Played them once at home, played them once on the road. Lost 10-2 in that game that Gonzalez started on June 15th. As he gets a fly ball here from Fabian into right field, Zach DeLoach doesn't have to move a muscle as he was waiting for that one for about 2 or 3 seconds. Finally settles into his mitt for the first out.
So first time out against the Braves, 3 2/3 innings of work, 5 earned runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. He does throw a lot of strikes, Danny. He just leaves him too far over the plate. That's why he gets hit around so much.
He's lowered the earned run total, 5 in the first appearance against Bourne, 4 in the next outing against YD, 3 in his next outing against Brewster, still without a win. Throws a ball too far down and into Xavier Warren. The lineup for Bourne, Judd Fabian just led off, followed by Xavier Warren and Cade Beloso. Jimmy Glowenke batting in the cleanup spot, and then Jackson Greer, the catcher, batting 5th. Cody Morissette follows him. Kyler Fedko batting 7th, then Jared Poland and Brendan Rivoli to finish out the Bourne order as a strike is taken to make the count 1-1 to Warren. 1-1 from Gonzalez. Down and away to the Central Michigan Chippewa.
This is a matchup to watch, Danny, because Xavier Warren feasted on the Commodores in their first game of the year against one another. Had a double and a home run off Gonzalez.
He watches a 2-1 fastball paint the outside black. Falmouth, their defensive alignment, pretty traditional as to what we've been seeing this summer. Here's the 2-2, and that one goes off of the foot of Warren, and he'll go take first base. Took an immediate carom all the way out towards the first baseline. Reason because it hit the cleat, and that's a hit by pitch for the first base runner for Bourne.
Tried to go with a sharp curveball, it looked like. Just stayed a little bit too far in the zone. Might have been a slider even as it broke inside off the left foot of Warren. Give him a free base. Not exactly what Gonzalez wanted to do to start the game, especially against a guy with a stolen base this year.
1 out and 1 runner on. Gonzalez now pitching from the stretch against the lefty, Cade Beloso. First pitch he sees is a fastball strike. That defensive alignment, Tim Tawa in left, Blake Dunn in center, Zach DeLoach in right. Infield from left to right, Moretto, then Cruz, then Cantrell, then Coots. Gonzalez throwing into Claunch. So we're seeing Moretto back at third base and Coots getting another start at first. Here's a breaking ball that drops in over the inside part of the plate, 0-2.
Good to see Cantrell back out for the Falmouth defensive alignment out at second base, which is where he's traditionally played. We saw him and Cruz switching spots a lot this year, but it seems like Cruz is now going to be their shortstop most of the time.
0-2 is slapped out towards left center field. Cruz is chasing after it, and he cannot get there. It's a bloop single off the bat of Cade Beloso, and that 0-2 pitch just hung up in the air a little too long, and it was able to get a hit is Beloso.
Beloso, who's been one of the better hitters for the Bourne Braves this year with a .323 average coming into the evening. Gets on base. The lefty didn't get a hold of that one, sort of poked it out on the inside part of the bat on the lefty-lefty matchup.
Here's Jimmy Glowenke, right-handed bat from Dallas Baptist University, with 2 runners on and only 1 out in a scoreless tie in the first. Gonzalez comes home with the first pitch. It's a breaking ball that's cut on and missed, so that off-speed has been really sharp so far. Glowenke, the designated hitter tonight for Bourne. Already with a chance to do what the DH needs to and get runs home. He's got Warren on second, who's got a good amount of speed. The 0-1. Swung on and missed yet again.
Glowenke also had a good game against Falmouth his last time out. 3 for 4 in that 3-0 loss for the Braves about 2 weeks ago.
Jimmy has hits in 3 of his last 4 games played. Trying to continue that stretch. Here's the pitch. Just outside.
I like what I'm seeing from Gonzalez right now. He's not leaving any juicy fastballs right over the plate. He's being a little more precise with his location in and around the zone, and when he's missing, he's not missing by much.
Glowenke with a respectable .263 average on the summer, only 5 RBIs. The 2-2 misses away. It couldn't be squeezed by Claunch. Bounces off the backstop pretty well. His throw down to second doesn't get to Cantrell in time as Beloso slides under it, so both runners will advance into scoring position after the wild pitch.
See how that one scored, Danny, but I think Claunch should have had that one. It's a pitch just a little bit outside to the righty Glowenke, and he just didn't move the glove fast enough, maybe squeezed it a little bit too early. And you mentioned the brick backstop. It can sometimes lead to untraditional throwouts at second or third base. I know we saw a couple of those last year, but Beloso heads up play to get into second base safely.
Well, the reason I call it a wild pitch, Claunch was set up inside, and that pitch came way outside. He immediately jogged out to Chris Gonzalez after time was called in order to get back on the same page. Seemed like Gonzalez thought they wanted to get a reaching swing, and Claunch wanted the tie-up. Here's the 2-2, and it's grounded foul. Jimmy Glowenke, as we mentioned, from Dallas Baptist University, rising junior there. Was a former first-team freshman All-American in 2018. That was from everybody, consensus, when he hit .336. 2-2 yet again is slashed out towards right field. Deloach is there. It's shallow. This could mean a play at the plate. Xavier Warren is tagging up from third. The throw into the plate. Not in time. Sliding around the tag was Xavier Warren, as it was a bit of a tough tag from Claunch. Squeezed the ball. Both hands came towards the chest, but the hand of Warren came around the tag.
I think that's got to be the closest play at the plate we've seen this summer, Danny. A good throw from Deloach. I don't know if Jackson Coots maybe was trying to cut that off, but he jumped and stretched the glove above his head. He's the first baseman tonight for the Commodores. Good thing he didn't get to it because it was a really close play at the plate. As you mentioned, Claunch just having to reach behind his body, and Xavier Warren with a nice slide to the outside part of the plate. He scores the game's first run.
Yeah, Warren knew what he was doing there. Slid feet first, but had his feet come all the way around the back of the batter's box and just tapped the plate with his hand. First pitch is a ball outside to Jackson Greer. Also on that play, Cade Beloso advanced to third, so good base running by him. He's probably the slowest guy in this lineup for Bourne, but knowing the throw was coming home, he was able to take third easily, and now he stands only 90 feet away with one out. Swing and a miss, or two outs, pardon me. Swing and a miss, and Jackson Greer is now down to 1-1 count.
Greer with his third team this summer. We saw him in Harwich at White House Field. We saw him take on the Falmouth Commodores with YD as a Red Sox.
He bats this into left field, going and going and going, and making the catch right along the left field foul line is Tim Tawa to retire the side. That one just kept tailing, and it stayed up long enough that Greer is able to be retired on a very well-struck baseball. To the top of the second inning we go. Bourne with a 1-0 lead after they score a run on one hit, no errors, and strand a runner on first.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape.
Urgent Care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Top of the second inning we go from Durand Park in Bourne, Massachusetts. 1-0 score in favor of the Braves. After a full game played here in Bourne, never had to hear the tomahawk chant, but now we hear it in only the first inning. It was a 3-0 win for Falmouth that last time. Right now 1-0 in the second inning. Troy Claunch is going to lead off for the Commodores, trying to cut into that lead. Claunch in his last game played against the Brewster Whitecaps, 3-run home run late in the ball game to tie things up at 3-3. An inning later, an RBI single from Tim Tawa brought home the eventual game-winning run as Falmouth won 4-3. He checks his swing at the first pitch breaking ball, but goes around. No balls and a strike.
Batters 5 and 6 with a couple big home runs. Their last times at the plate, Smith with the walk-off last night.
Here's the 0-1, down and in. Yeah, Taylor Smith last night came up in the bottom of the 10th with one out and nobody on base in a tie game. Pretty much everybody was resigned to the fact that there was going to be a tie. All of the bullpen was standing up on the chairs, on the benches they have, as the 1-1 is cut on and missed. Claunch swinging out of his shoes. Bullpen was standing up on the benches. They had their rally caps going, but pretty much everybody else in the ballpark was pretty quiet, and all of a sudden, Taylor Smith walloped a ball.
Yeah, that's what we've seen him do a handful of times this year.
1-2 to Claunch, taken up and in for a ball. Recent article pushed out by our own Max Trink, our web reporter, about Troy, talking all about how the last 2 years of his college ball, really the first two, played behind Adley Rutschman the whole time. So he's got big shoes to fill in at Oregon State as he swings and misses at that breaking ball in the dirt and goes down as a strikeout victim. A couple of bad swings from Claunch on some pretty outside pitches.
Yeah, right now Lardner's dealing. He's only allowed one hit, one base runner, and it was Hayden Cantrell who swung at the first fastball he saw and roped it into left field.
So be sure to go check out the Commodores Corner, our blog on our website, to read all about how Troy Claunch now has to step in and be the starting catcher, replacing arguably the best player in Oregon State Beaver history. Fastball is a strike on the outside corner to Taylor Smith, and that's saying a lot. That's just how good Rutschman was. Taylor Smith at the DH hole yet again. Swings and misses at the breaking ball. He's now down 0-2.
Right now, Lardner firing a lot of strikes as well. He's keeping that pitch count extremely low, pitching to contact a little bit.
He does have 2 strikeouts. That's over the last 3 batters. Here's the pitch. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not, says Joe Hinojosa. Count now a ball and 2 strikes to Smith. Taylor with hits in 5 of 6 games played. Every single hit he's had on the season has been for extra bases. The 1-2. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. Looked a little bit low to me, but getting the call is Lardner, and he's got back-to-back Ks.
At bat, number 31 from Cal State Sacramento, Stephen Moretto.
Claunch and Smith, a couple guys who strike out a decent amount, as Smith has hits in 4 of the 5 games that he's played.
Stephen Moretto, who has not been striking out a lot recently, steps up to the plate. He swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. Moretto still with an average right around 200, so not where he wants it to be, but only 1 strikeout in his last 5 games played, so he has been making contact.
Yeah, he was a pinch hitter last night, Danny. Worked a long count against a guy who was absolutely dealing in Will Heflin.
0-1 up and away. Moretto walked in that lone plate appearance, but did not come around to score. His last 2 games, he's been playing at first base, which is the first time we've seen him there. Now he's back at his familiar corner at third as he takes a ball to make it 2-1. Stephen from Sacramento State. From Canada originally. 2-1. Up and away, ball 3.
What is it, Coquitlam? Is that right?
Coquitlam. It's something we haven't talked about a lot with, really at all with Stephen, and that we should, is that he played in the Little League World Series for Team Canada when he was 13. He lines that over towards first base. It takes a hop right behind the bag. Backhand fielded by Beloso. He steps on it himself. 3 unassisted for the final out. Down go the Doors in order, 1-2-3, into the home half of the second. It'll be Bourne coming back up to the plate with a 1-0 lead.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Bottom of the second inning will be led off by Cody Morissette from Boston College. First pitch to the lefty is a breaking ball, sits just a little high. Morissette playing shortstop tonight for Bourne. He's been red hot recently. 5-game hit streak that he's been working on as he tries to extend it here, but pops up a ball into left field. Tawa is in. He makes the grab. 2 pitches and 1 out here in the second.
Gonzalez being really solid right now on the mound. More strikes than balls and pounding the strike zone early. That's what he needs to do to get that confidence, because in each of his 3 starts, he's given up early runs that he's then had to dig himself out of a hole in.
Kyler Fedko will now be the hitter. Right-handed bat from UConn against the lefty Gonzalez. Here's the pitch, and it's grounded foul towards the third base side. Got good wood on it, just a little too out in front of it was Fedko, whose brother we saw yesterday. He plays for Harwich. Christian Fedko, now Kyler Fedko, in only the last 24 hours.
Yeah, and those 2 teams played each other last week. Bourne winning 3-2. It was the Fedko Bowl.
1-1 now the count after that ball sits in a little bit too high. Bourne last night, losers to Katuitt by a score of 8-6 as Fedko pops this one up, this time towards the right side. Cantrell will go out and make the call and the grab as it's now 2 outs on 2 flyouts.
So maybe we weren't expecting a pitcher's duel
At bat, number 23 from the University of Louisville.
with Gonzalez on the mound, given his track record and the hits that he's given up. We saw it yesterday against Harwich. Those 2 guys were absolutely firing in Majinski and Seymour. More of the same here today, just 1 hit for either side.
First pitch thrown to Jared Poland is taking outside. Yesterday was the polar opposite of the game that Bourne played. Bourne's loss was 8-6. Falmouth's win was 3-2, and there were 9 hits in total between those 2 teams, Harwich and Falmouth. As Gonzalez misses outside again, 2 balls and no strikes. Jared Poland from the University of Louisville. A clean 3 for 10, so that's an even 300 on the summer so far. 2-0 at the knees for a strike.
He's also a 2-way player. He's made 2 appearances on the mound for the Braves. Gave up 3 earned runs his last time out against Hyannis.
2-1 grounded right at Hayden Cantrell. He fields it cleanly, throws on to first for a 4-3 putout to retire the side. So Gonzalez mimics Lardner by working a 1-2-3 second inning, and we will head to the third, 1-0 in favor of the Braves.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
At bat, number 39.
Top 3 here in Bourne. Danny LaRose and David Korzanowski bringing to this one between the Commodores and the Braves. So far, it's Braves up 1-0, but the pitching has been the storyline through the first 2 innings. Only 1 hit allowed by each side.
Lardner, quick work in the second, 2 strikeouts, and then a ground out from Moretto.
His first pitch, the lefty Jackson Coots, is taken on the outside corner for a strike. Jackson back at first base for Falmouth in this ball game. We've seen a whole host of different first basemen. Breaking ball breaks in at the knees, and that's a beautiful pitch to get ahead 0-2.
Coots' average falling back down a little bit, 276 at the plate.
Here's the 0-2 upstairs for a ball. Jackson was pretty consistent, getting about a hit per game in his first couple of starts. Recently, not so much, but 2 of his last 3 hits are for extra bases, and he did collect RBIs on them. So he's been maybe getting more important hits, you could argue. 1-2, grounded right at second base. That one is fielded cleanly, thrown on to first for an out. So 1 up, 1 down after the pitch and catch from Jared Poland over to Cade Beloso.
At bat, number 17 from Stanford University, Tim
Looking
Tower.
really solid. Again, that only hit was to Cantrell on the first pitch of the game. Other than that, Lardner has been just about untouchable.
Tim Tawa going to try to break that up. He's playing left field today. Started at leadoff and third base yesterday as he chops the first pitch he sees right at short. Quick throw over towards first base and a nice stretch by Beloso as Morissette gets the second out of the inning against Tawa.
A lot of ground balls, too. We see that Gonzalez is working more flyouts and pop-outs. Lardner the opposite, with now 4 groundouts in this game. First time through the order, Lardner allows only 1 base runner on the single from this man, Hayden Cantrell.
At bat, number 5.
Hayden Cantrell got a single on the very first pitch of the ball game, doing what he normally does. Blake Dunn right after him grounded into a fielder's choice, so he erased Cantrell from the base. First pitch to Hayden, taken on the outside corner for a strike. Mentioned how Hayden missed the last game. He was down at his coach's funeral in Lafayette, Louisiana. 0-1 grounded over towards second base, and this looks like it will do it. 3 groundouts in the 3rd inning, all early in counts, and Lardner is shoving. As we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning after that 1-2-3 inning, it's still 1-0 Bourne.
Colossal lobster rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Welcome back to Duran Park, and we were just mentioning how last half inning during his at-bat, Hayden Cantrell missed yesterday's ball game, the first one he missed all summer long, to be at his coach's funeral. Tony Robichaud at Louisiana Lafayette passed away last week, but Hayden turned it around really quick. He was only gone for about 36 hours, so we're going to send it over to our sideline reporter, Katie Florio, to let us know about how Hayden was able to turn it around.
Thanks, Danny. And like you just mentioned, he was absent because he was at his coach's funeral. And the guys told me last night that his absence was definitely felt. But we always keep harping on how much of a leader he is. So it was certainly no surprise to see him come straight from the airport to the field today. He literally showed up in his khakis and his nice shoes before the game. He told me that Kevin Kendall and Troy Clonch brought all of his things, his bag, his uniform, brought everything for him. And he told me that he was just so ready to come back and play today. And here he is, fresh off the plane, back in that leadoff spot, and certainly something that we would definitely expect from him.
Thank you for that, Katie. So Hayden Cantrell wasted no time, drove straight from Logan International in Boston to Bourne, and made sure that he was here with all his gear, told his teammates to bring it, and he had a hit on the very first pitch he saw, so didn't really have any time to rest, but didn't need it. As now the very first batter here in the bottom of the 3rd inning was plunked on a pitch on the edge of the elbow. Looked like it just brushed up against the shirt sleeve of Brendan Rivoli, so he'll take it. He's standing on first base as the second pitch of the inning to Judd Fabian is taken for a ball.
So just a couple small mistakes from Gonzalez. He's hit 2 batters now.
Misses low again as Clonch nods his head, telling him, "You got this." Yeah, that one barely touched Rivoli. I didn't even realize that it hit him until he started taking off his shin guard and his elbow pad and jogging down to first base. Ball was even caught by Clonch. 2-0 off the plate, as now it looks like Gonzalez just kind of gripping the ball too hard.
Fabian, the leadoff man, flew out to right field his first time up. 232 average during his freshman campaign with the Florida Gators from Ocala, Florida.
He should only be heading into his freshman year at Florida. He skipped his senior year of high school and reapplied as that one hits the outside corner for a strike. What do they call that? Reclassified. He reclassified as a freshman, despite being about a year younger than every other freshman in his class, and still put up those numbers. 3-1 pitch from Gonzalez, down and in for ball 4. A 5-pitch walk administered by Chris Gonzalez to Judd Fabian, and the first 2 runners are on in this 3rd inning. Neither of them got a hit.
All right, so now we're really going to see what Chris Gonzalez is made of, and here's why. Because, first of all, he's not finding the zone right now after he hit Rivoli and then walked Fabian on 5 pitches, and 2, because this is his second time through the order. And he's mentioned to us how he struggles that second time through the order. He had a little bit more success against Brewster his last time out, but right now sort of back against the wall for Gonzalez with 2 runners on, nobody out, and already a 1-0 deficit.
He's got Xavier Warren to get through and fires the ball below the knees to him. So a lot of balls thrown here by Gonzalez. Only 1 strike so far on the inning. And Xavier Warren is dangerous. 70 RBIs this past season at Central Michigan. First team All-MAC. Grounds this over towards short, could be 2. Fielded, glove flip by Trey Cruz onto Cantrell. Throw onto first, 6-4-3 double play, and Cruz made it look pretty with the glove flip.
Huge, because Warren's got some speed at that 2 spot, so they had to make that transfer quick. Risky play for Cruz with the glove flip. He had a couple errors 2 nights ago against Brewster, but not showing it there as he and Cantrell, that duo, are now joking with each other right now, and just 1 runner on and 2 outs.
Yeah, that is huge for Chris Gonzalez as he gets those 2 outs, and even though Rivoli is on 3rd base, he can get an out from anywhere. Beloso swings at the first pitch, floats it into right center field, and just like that, the double play feels like distant memory as that single brings home the 2nd run of the ball game in favor of the Braves.
It does plate another run, Danny, but I still think that double play was huge, because if Warren gets on base or he just gets 1 out, you're probably looking at maybe a 2 or a 3 spot in this half inning, and now limiting the damage to 1 with nobody out and 2 runners on base might be a best case scenario for Gonzalez.
He's got to get through the cleanup man, Jimmy Glowenke, who swings at the first pitch. Fastball right at Hayden Cantrell, takes it to the base himself, and that will do it on this half inning. But the Braves do double their lead. They score 1 run on 1 hit, no errors against Falmouth, and 1 runner left on base. As we head to the top of the 4th inning, Falmouth trailing by 2.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Back here in the top of the 4th inning at Duran Park, David Korzenowski joined alongside Danny LaRose. 2-0 Braves lead here in the top of inning number 4. And Danny, right now, Lardner looks fantastic.
Yeah, Lardner has been brilliant. I mean, he doesn't really have too many strikeouts. He does have 3 through 3 innings. It's not like what we saw from Madzynski yesterday, but it's still very respectable. Has only allowed the 1 hit on the very first pitch he threw this ball game. So it looked like Falmouth was going to get off to a great start, and since then, the doors have been nothing against Lardner, as he has been putting down everybody pretty easily, back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings, and everything's been a ground ball, too. Only 1 flyout coming off the bat of Trey Cruz in the first.
Blake Dunn will start things off. He shows bunt, pulls back, and takes an off-speed pitch high. This is a Bourne Braves pitching staff that was starved for a solid outing from their starters. They've given up 8, 13, and 6 in their last 3 games. Strike number 1 finds the outside corner. Team ERA coming into today, 4.10 for the Braves. That's 8th in the Cape League. Here's a high fly ball into right field. Moving in is Fedko. He's got the sun in his eyes, but he makes the catch. 1 down.
And again, like I said, it's not really strikeouts that have been so overly dominant for Lardner, but it's been at-bats like that, early in counts, getting a swing, and getting soft contact. I haven't really seen hard contact since Cantrell was at the plate in his first time when he got that single. So we'll see who can finally break through, and maybe they can get something going against Lardner, but right now they just kind of got to chip away and see if they can put together good swings.
Lardner through 3 1/3 has fired just 39 pitches. Here's number 40, curveball inside black, 0-1. Zach DeLoach now at the plate. He was a strikeout victim his first time up. Lardner, the lefty from the windup, fires a fastball right down the middle, 0-2.
He's just been peppering the strike zone with strikes, and the issue is normally we see that from strikeout pitchers, so teams swing earlier to get on base, and they normally do. But with Lardner, they have been swinging early.
Ball 1 upstairs, about chin high to DeLoach. Greer, the battery mate of Lardner, who is moving quickly, and why not? He is dealing right now, hasn't allowed a hit since the top of the first. The 1-2, fastball swung on late, and another strikeout. DeLoach with 2 swinging Ks so far in this game, now 2 down in the 4th.
Yeah, and he was clueless on that last one. I mean, that fastball looked like it had a little running action to it. At the very least, DeLoach wasn't expecting one, and it was outside, looked like it was going to catch the corner, so he gave a last-chance effort at it and missed completely.
Exactly, Danny. I think he was looking off speed because he had that swing a little bit late. As Cruz swings at the first pitch, he sees it dies below his bat. 0-1 the count.
Wow, this is really dominant right now.
And again, I hit on it before, but he's moving at such a quick pace. Second pitch, dribbled over towards third base. Xavier Warren throw across the diamond, and another 1-2-3 inning. How about that? Lardner has retired the last 12 batters he's faced, and we head to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 2-0 Braves. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians, expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare. Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape. Bottom of the 4th, Danny, in a game that is flying by. 6:45 is the local time, and we are through 3.5 now.
Yeah, this has been really quick, and you can thank Mac Lardner mostly for that, for 3 straight 1-2-3 innings and barely throwing over a dozen pitches in any of them.
Bourne last night had a game that lasted close to 4 hours against Katuitt. It was 8-6 as the final score in favor of the Kettleers. Foul ball
from Jackson Greer to start off the bottom of the fourth. Quickly gets into the building behind us. We're at Upper Cape Tech campus, Duran Park here in Bourne, Massachusetts. Off speed, skips low, 1-1.
Does feel like Falmouth usually plays quicker games. I mean, the last couple of days we were, saying how wacky it was that the games hit 3 hours in length, which is usually pretty typical.
12-7 win for the Commodores with Chris Gonzalez on the mound was about 3 hours. Then the next game against Katuitt, a 6-1 win at home, was about the same. Curveball drops at the knees, strike 2, says home plate umpire Joe Peters. Jackson Greer shaking his head in disagreement. He readjusts the batting gloves, kicks the bat head on his cleats 3 times, adjusts his helmet, taps the plate, and steps in. Wagging the bat above his right shoulder, the lefty Gonzalez to the righty Greer. High, ball 2.
Now that high pitch looks like a strike to my eye. It was just below the letters, but a lot of umpires don't like to call it. The low pitch, though, that Greer was just disagreeing with, that's been called a couple times by Joe Peters. It is low, but it has been consistent.
2-2. Also low in the dirt, 3-2.
Yeah, not going to be that low for Gonzalez.
Jackson Greer, a rising senior at Eastern Tennessee State University. 314 average his junior year with a 975 OPS. Here's a 2-hopper over to Moretto. He fields it in his stomach. Skip on to Coots, and it's caught for the first out.
That was a great play by Steven Moretto because that ball, again, Jackson Greer, his first time up, had a sharp line drive that was hit into left field, and it was tailing towards the left field line. This ground ball also tailing as it kind of rapidly moved towards Moretto's right, and he somehow stayed with it, didn't lose his balance, shuffled a little bit over towards his throwing side, and was able to stay with the baseball, not having to resort to his backhand.
Now Cody Morissette steps in. He's been one of the hottest bats on this team. More on that in a second. Fastball at the thighs for strike number 1. Morissette has been great for Bourne in what has been a rough stretch. He has RBIs in 5 straight games, hits in 8 of his last 9. 3 of those games were multi-hit games.
He had a big hit yesterday. 9th inning, a 3-run double. Bourne ended up losing 8-6, but Morissette made it as close as it possibly could get.
0-1 fouled back into the screen. Morissette wears number 7 for the Braves. He is a rising sophomore at Boston College. 320 in his first year with the Eagles. Gonzalez from the windup rears back. Another ground ball over to Moretto. Fielded on a backhand. Throw across the diamond. High, and it goes off the glove of Jackson Coots. Morissette's going to stay put at first base. We have a runner on with 1 out.
If that goes down as an error, it's going to be a throwing error. We've seen that once before from Steven Moretto, who was so sure at third base, and that one really could have squeaked through his legs because that was such a sharply hit baseball, took a very, very quick hop right in front of him, and he was still able to keep his backhand onto it and squeeze it, so saved what could have been a single or even a double because of how hard hit it was, would have rolled up the line pretty far. But Steven Moretto, I mean, that was just cat-like reflexes at third base to get the baseball into his mitt. Goes down as a hit because it was a close play, so he avoids the error, but with an accurate throw, probably would have had the out.
Kyler Fedko now up with a runner on and 1 out. Gonzalez pitching back in the stretch, fastball outside part of the plate for a strike. So Fedko now with hits in 9 of his last 10 games, and he is aboard the 3rd hit of the evening for Bourne. Gonzalez with the sun in his eyes. He's got his hat protecting his eyes. Fires a curveball just a bit low. 1-1.
I've been liking the curveball a lot from Chris Gonzalez this ball game. He's been keeping it low about knee high. More often than not, he's been getting it to be called for strikes. A lot of these Bourne hitters aren't really approaching it. They don't really want to touch it at all. They're looking for more fastball because that's traditionally what Gonzalez gets hit around on a lot more.
The 1-1, a quick look back, and he will throw towards first to check on Morissette.
Morissette with 8 stolen bases this past year at Boston College. He was pretty much an offensive powerhouse for the Eagles. Ended up tearing apart the ACC tournament as well. They really got a good one.
Morissette 0 for 1 on swiped bags this summer. Gonzalez fires another curveball. This one gets past Clonch.
Morissette jogs over to second base. Runner in scoring position, 1 out.
Yeah, that time, unlike the first one, Claunch was expecting it to go outside, but again, just ricocheted off of the end of his mitt, maybe squeezed it a little bit too early, rolled towards the backstop. So Morissette now in scoring position in less than 2 outs. That's when things start to get dangerous because he's got some speed.
Fedko popped out to second base. His first time up. That is ruled a wild pitch, as was the first. Fastball roped into right field. Long run for DeLoach, but he makes the catch. And Morissette stays put at second base. A big out number 2.
Good read by Morissette. Off the bat, looked like he was going to get to a gap, and it was pretty far into the gap, but DeLoach is playing very far off the right field line. So I could have very easily seen Morissette going about halfway and looking back too late, but instead he stayed put, and that's a pretty big out for Gonzalez. Yeah, it's a loud out. Yeah, got some oohs and ahs, but it's an out regardless, and he's at the bottom of the order, so not too much to be worried about right here.
Gonzalez through 3 2/3 innings of work, giving up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk. He has yet to strike out a Brave. He'll try against Jared Poland, who grounded out his first time up. This one's swatted foul. Poland again from Louisville. Cardinals making it to Omaha. I think probably the best team in the ACC. UNC winning the ACC tournament, but Louisville was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, they were top 10 all season long.
And the number 1 seed in the tournament somehow bounced in the first round against the Eagles. Here's one that's into the gap in left center. Long run for Tawa, so Morissette gets waved around. He will tap home plate with no play at the plate, and it's 3-0 Bourne.
It's about par for the course that we've seen from Chris Gonzalez this year. Maybe less hits and less runs through these innings. Usually we've seen him tag for a couple of runs per inning, but again, you know, pretty much about a run hit per inning, just besides that 1, 2, 3 worked in the second. So Bourne jumping on him, jumping on these fastballs. He's just, again, leaving too many pitches over the plate. And that's a big two-out RBI. Looked like he was going to be able to get out of the inning unscathed. All of a sudden, Poland comes up big, and the inning continues as Bourne continues to extend their lead.
Here's a sharp ground ball past the outstretched glove of Jackson Coots. It's into right field, so Poland sliding and going back to second base as he was well on his way to third before he got the stop sign from Harvey Shapiro, third base coach and head coach for the Bourne Braves. But back-to-back singles put runners on first and second with 2 outs.
And these have been lasers. I mean, these ones have been pretty well hit. Falmouth, meanwhile, when they're at the plate, not really anything that has been hard struck, but Bourne has been tattooing the baseball from Gonzalez.
Judd Fabian 0 for 1 today with a walk. We'll try to keep this 2-out rally alive. Braves and Commodores are 1-1 against each other so far this year. The Braves won the first matchup at Gov Fuller Field, 10-2. Commodores won the second matchup, 3-0. They'll play 3 more times after the game tonight. Braves right now 4th in the West Division. Commodores at 3rd in points, 1st in win percentage. Curveball outside black, strike 1.
Falmouth has had their most trouble against the worst teams in the Western Division. Against Hyannis, they're still winless, tied and lost to the Harbor Hawks. And against Bourne, they're 1-1, but the one game they lost was a blowout, 10-2, like you said.
And a combined 3-0 against Catuit and Wareham. This one gets through the legs of Troy Klotch. Moving over to third and second, respectively, are Poland and Rivoli. 2 runners in scoring position with 2 down.
Yeah, so that's probably going to go down as another wild pitch. They're going to call it 3 wild pitches against Chris Gonzalez, but he hasn't really made too many mistakes. I mean, that curveball was expected to be in the dirt. Klotch got down there in time and everything, but maybe just had the glove a little bit too high, and it squeaked right underneath his mitt. He didn't even realize it got past him, so he's having a pretty tough day defensively right now.
I think one could argue that maybe all of them were pass balls. Here's a fly ball foul.
Yeah, just when you see a pitch in the dirt, they're always going to chalk it up as a wild pitch, but it's definitely one, and I think Klotch knows it, it's definitely one that the catcher probably should have had.
1-2 the count to Fabian. On deck, Xavier Warren, who grounded out and into a double play in the third. One-two count, 2 down, 2 runners on. Curveball this time stopped by Claunch. 2-2.
I was raving about the curveball from Gonzalez earlier, but right now he's just keeping it too low. These are easy to lay off when the pitch is never in the strike zone, and it doesn't have enough movement to get away with it. I mean, guys like Thomas Gerard, when he throws this breaking ball, never keeps it in the zone, but it has so much movement that you just get fooled by it completely. With Gonzalez, it's easy to see.
2-2. Fastball in the dirt, full count.
Again, he's trying to keep the ball low, and he's maybe gripping things a little bit too tightly, and that's why everything has been sinking way below the knees.
Fabian worked 4 walks coming into the night. He had his 5th in the 3rd inning. 1 pitch away from his 6th, and if it is a ball, it would load the bases. Here's the 3-2, swung on and chopped back foul to Xavier Warren in the on-deck circle. Count stays the same.
Yeah, it's so tough to approach Judd Fabian with 2 runners in scoring position like this because he does have that 325 average entering into the ball game tonight. He does walk pretty frequently, so he's just about an X factor for a hitter. He's a true leadoff man, and Gonzalez has to be really careful. He knows that.
Gonzalez with a long look into Troy Claunch. He's in the stretch, takes a look back to Rivoli at second base and fires. Here's a ground ball over to Trey Cruz. 8 up and bobbled, throw on to first. He beat it out. Trey Cruz had 2 errors at short against Brewster. That one couldn't quite get the transfer in time. And it scores another run now, 4-0 Bourne.
That one's going to go down as an error against Cruz. He now has 3 errors in his last 2 starts at the shortstop position, and he maybe waited a little bit too long on the baseball, let it take an extra hop and kind of eat him up as it jumped in towards his midsection, couldn't control it, got in front of it, knocked it down, but against a guy like Fabian, he's going to beat that out every time. So Cruz maybe, regretting the fact that he decided to be patient with the baseball.
Warren is up with runners on the corners. He scored the first run of this ball game. He watches a curveball for a strike. 0-1. It's ruled a fielding error on Trey Cruz. Now Fabian on first, Rivoli on third. Jared Poland just scored. Hard hit ball down the third base line, but foul.
Wow. Rivoli was lucky at third base to be able to avoid that one because he was standing in fair territory. If that hits him, he's an out.
Harvey Shapiro maybe letting him know as he takes a lead in foul territory. Gonzalez still pitching from the stretch, the 0-2. Chopped over towards second base. Hayden Cantrell fields it on a forehand, throws on to Jackson Coots, and the inning is over. Bourne Braves add 2 on 3 hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. They are up by 4 as we head to the top of inning number 5. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves. The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
The Doors have been comeback kids as of late. They're staring at a 4-0 deficit right now, their largest since a 6-0 deficit against the Chatham Anglers on Friday. Claunch, Smith, and Moretto due up. Claunch swings at the first pitch over towards Xavier Warren at third, throw across the diamond. And that is an easy out number one. Now 13 batters in a row retired by Mac Lardner.
And just so many ground outs. I mean, everything has been a ground out except for 4 strikeouts and 1 flyout. Otherwise, every other time a Commodore has been put down, he's been hitting, and they haven't been hard. They've been like slow rollers. That one was one of the harder ones.
7 ground outs now for Falmouth. 4 strikeouts, 2 flyouts.
That's what Franco Aliman was doing last time we were here at Durand Park.
Big swing and a miss from Taylor Smith on the first pitch fastball. He was a strikeout victim looking his first time up in the second inning. Lardner has been absolutely magnificent. Barely had to pitch from the stretch, just 1 base runner in this game. That pitch misses somewhere, 1-1. Lardner, the lefty. Beautiful curveball, 1-2.
His off speed has just been perfect this ball game. I mean, I don't even remember him missing at all in the dirt or anything. He's been keeping that thing on a string and throwing it with a bullseye accuracy every time.
Fastball high. Count moves to 2-2. Lardner, I mentioned that 5.53 ERA during his sophomore year. Excuse me, a junior year as a starter. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Now, 5 strikeouts on the day for Lardner, but what I wanted to hit on was his sophomore year. His best campaign with the Zags, a 7-4 record, 2.95 ERA in 16 starts. He had 1 complete game. Danny, he threw 100 2/3 innings during his second year.
I doubt he played summer ball that year.
I can confirm that he did not. Moretto watches a curveball at the belt. That is just nasty stuff, as my partner is.
4 of the last 5 pitches were off speed, and they were all in the strike zone and all untouchable.
He'll go to it again. Swing and a miss from Moretto. 0-2 now.
It's like a blitz ball. It's like that special wiffle ball that moves all over the place, and that's what he's throwing right now.
Well, he can get it back to the hot Bourne Braves bats with a strike here. The 0-2. Fastball high, but Moretto gets a piece of it. 0-2.
That was a mistake, and he's lucky Moretto didn't deposit it deep over the left field fence, because he went with the fastball high like you said, but let it to stay right around the letters of Moretto. That's one on 0-2. You want to get up near the eyes.
Here's a line drive back to Lardner. It goes off his glove and to the right of the mound. He picks it up and throws over to first base. Now 4 straight 1-2-3 innings worked by Mac Lardner. It's a shame that he gave up a hit in his first AB, because right now he'd be dishing a perfect game minus the first pitch single from Cantrell in the top of the first. Now 15 in a row have gone down for the Doors. It's still 4-0 Bourne on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school, and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
From LSU, Cade Beloso.
We are back here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Chris Gonzalez still on the bump for the Commodores, as he has not had a lot of time in between innings, Danny, because Mac Lardner has made such quick work of the Commodores.
Yeah, Gonzalez probably wants like a little while to sit there, watch his team do well, get, some sips of water in, and maybe he had to get one before he's right back out on the mound.
First pitch misses low to Cade Beloso, who is 2 for 2 today. That ball just poked foul behind and to the right near the Falmouth Commodores dugout. Beloso had a 3-game hitting streak snapped last night. He was 1 for 4 against Falmouth his last time out. Ball misses high and in, almost clipped the jersey of the first baseman.
Yeah, Gonzalez is just missing by a wide margin on those breaking balls. It's not looking good from him right now.
The 2-1. Inside again, 3-1.
I'm surprised they didn't go to a different pitcher. Would expect Mike Landry to maybe decide to go to someone else, seeing how Gonzalez got hit around quite a bit, hasn't really been hitting the strike zone. He's been getting into a lot of 3-ball counts.
Ball 4 misses inside. He's been peppering that inside part of the strike zone, and Beloso reaches base for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, just couldn't find anything on the inside part of the plate. Beloso being smart to stay patient. Obviously, those are easier to lay off because you see them, then you're thinking, if I swing at that, it's going to tie me up anyway. And he was able to watch a couple of those miss too far inside. So I like the approach from Gonzalez, but you just got to hit the strike zone.
First pitch to Glowenke is foul. As the Commodores face a 4-0 deficit here about midway through this game against Bourne. Again, 3rd matchup of the year between these two teams. Gonzalez from the stretch. Curveball just low. Klonch held it an extra second to make sure that Joe Peters was sure about the call.
Yeah, I got to give Chris credit right now. He's not missing by a lot.
Right. I still think he's looking better now than in his first couple starts, but the stat line looks pretty similar. Ball 3 misses outside.
Yeah, it does have an unearned run, so not 4 earned, but only 3 earned so far. But that's, I don't know, maybe the slimmest of silver linings.
The 2-1. Fastball at the knees, strike 2.
It's been the fastball that's been hitting the strike zone. Only issue is when that's your only pitch hitting the zone, the other teams are going to take advantage. So with 2 strikes, it's going to be tough to go to a curve because you can't quite find the zone. But at the same time, you pretty much got to.
Fastball high. This one over to Moretto, and it eats him up. Steven Moretto couldn't field that one on a sharp hop. It dribbles to his left. Now 2 runners on and nobody out.
That's going to go down as an error for Moretto. That's one that he usually has. He did everything right. He got his body low, got really down up on it, got his chest up high as well to be able to block it, hit off of his glove, then off of his chest. Don't know what went wrong there. Maybe it was a sudden sharp hop off the lip of the grass, but regardless, reaching first base thanks to the E5 is Glowenke, and Gonzalez isn't getting much help from his fielders either.
Not at all. Foul ball grazed back into the backstop behind him. Commodores with a .965 fielding percentage. They are one of 3 teams tied for 7th in fielding percentage.
Thing about fielding percentage is you might hit the most home runs or have the best pitching, but fielding percentage can really do you in when you're in the stretch run and you're in the playoffs. That can win or lose you games.
Jackson Greer with a high fly ball to left field. Tim Tawa has a read on it. Makes the catch. Jackson Greer has put a ride on a few balls, but he's 0 for 3.
Yeah, he's put together some of the nicest swings we've seen from any Brave because, a lot of these hits for Bourne, yeah, some of them have been really hard struck, but coming with 2 strikes, more protective swings, and they're finding holes. But Greer so far has been swinging early, and he's just been getting out.
Brings a visit from pitching coach Mike Landry. We saw Justin Robleski getting loose in the bullpen. We'll see if they make the call now or wait until the 6th. Gonzalez now at 72 pitches. He's fired 41 strikes, 31 balls.
Long visit from Landry. 8th-year pitching coach for the Commodores. Spent 7 years in the minor leagues, was a bullpen catcher for the Chicago White Sox. He went to Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois, and when he's not spending his time in Falmouth during these 3 months in the summer, he works at Thayer Academy. Now just about 10, 15 miles outside of Boston. So after a quick visit, here's the pitch to Cody Morissette. It dribbles to the right of Troy Claunch, and that one gets behind him to move the base runners to second and third yet again.
Been seeing that so much, but Troy did everything right on that last play. He got down, he got dirty, let it play off of his chest protector, but kind of like the ground ball to Moretto we saw this inning, it skips off of his chest and rolls too far away. So a couple of unlucky hops for the Commodores have now put 2 runners in scoring position, and Gonzalez really has his work cut out for him.
It was a ball to Morissette. Here's a second ball about shin high to the lefty second baseman. Morissette actually playing short tonight. He's traditionally the second baseman for the Braves. He's 1 for 2 with a single, a stolen base, and a run. Strike 1.
We've said it time and time again, the Doors never really feel like they're out of any game. They haven't been out of any game recently. They're coming back just about every single time. But, I mean, this game, they just look real sloppy. They don't really look like they have it.
The 2-1 from the stretch. Roped into left field for Tawa. He fields it on the run, tagging up his Cade Beloso. Throw in, double hop to Troy Claunch, but he's in safely. Moving over to third base. Throw, play, tag is late. Glowenke moves all the way over to third on the late tag up, and Beloso scores the 5th run of the game for the Braves. It's 5-0 Bourne.
I mean, again, that was a great throw. It took 1 hop to Troy Claunch. It was going to be late regardless. Skips up off his shoulder, so there's really not much he can do. I mean, he blocked it and everything, but it just skipped a little bit too high. And, of course, it rolled beyond the stretch of Chris Gonzalez, who couldn't get there to cut it off. Claunch had to go get it himself, and that would have been an easy put-out on Glowenke. He took a really late jump from second base once he saw the ball skip away. If Gonzalez had a read on it right away, he would have been dead to rights. Instead, Claunch had to go get it himself, and it just, I mean, that's like 3 unlucky bounces in this inning alone. Doesn't help Chris Gonzalez's day at all, as it's now at an end.
Mike Landry comes out and makes the call to Justin Robleski. We'll keep it here during this pitching change, as Danny, Justin Robleski's been pretty solid with a couple shaky outings.
Well, his last outing, he was brilliant. 2 innings of work, did not allow a hit or a run. Only 1 base runner reached. That was with a walk. Struck out 2 as well. That was when he got his first win. Outing before that got his first loss when he allowed 2 runs over a third of an inning on no hits but 2 walks. So Justin Robleski kind of with a Jekyll and Hyde in his last 2 appearances. So far on the summer, he's 1-1, and 9 flat ERA in 4 games so far. 5 innings of work, 7 Ks, 5 walks. He usually comes in for a limited amount of time. 2 outings where he's thrown less than an inning, 2 outings where he's thrown 2 innings on the dot. And right here, I'm sure Falmouth may be looking for him to go through this final third and maybe eat up an inning in the 6th.
Something I'm looking at, Danny, is that outing against Orleans, he was wild with those 2 walks. He also had a couple wild pitches that got past Troy Claunch, who was catching against the Firebirds. And we've seen a handful of balls get past Troy Claunch tonight. We've seen 4. 3 of them were ruled a wild pitch. 1 was ruled a pass ball. And if Robleski is anywhere near that tonight, it could be more trouble for the Doors.
Yeah, wild pitches and walks weren't helping Chris Gonzalez at all. You mentioned how a bunch of those got behind Claunch. He also hit 2 batters, walked a couple more. The first batter of this inning, Cade Beloso, walked on 5 pitches. He came around to score. I mean, whenever you give opposing teams an inch, whether it be on walks or errors, they usually come around and pounce. And that's happened in this ball game. The 2 errors that have been charged against Falmouth, both of those base runners able to score. So that's definitely going to be an important thing to keep note of, because it seems like every mistake Falmouth makes, they get burned for it.
Chris Gonzalez still responsible for Jimmy Glowenke over at third base. That's the only thing preventing his line from being final. 4 2/3 innings of work. No Ks. How about that? And 2 walks.
Stepping in to face the lefty from Clemson University is Kyler Fedko. Robleski from the stretch. With Glowenke 90 feet away, here is one swatted down the right field line. Will it stay fair? Yes, it will. Bounces past the outstretched glove of Zach DeLoach. And in with a stand-up double is Kyler Fedko. It's 6-0.
Well, the hit parade continues for Bourne as they keep tacking it on. They now have 6 hits. And in this inning, that's only their first hit of the inning, as the previous run came in on a sacrifice fly. And Chris Gonzalez's day mercifully comes to an official end as he's charged with another run. That one won't be earned because Glowenke got on with an error, but still, Robleski unable to stop the bleeding and help out his starter.
Jared Poland trying to keep the inning going. We saw the Braves add a couple more runs with 2 outs in the 4th. Throw down to third base, trying to steal, and out is Kyler Fedko. Troy Clonch with the throw to Steven Moretto as Fedko got a little bit greedy. That ends the inning before Jared Poland gets a chance at the plate, but 2 more runs for Bourne on 1 hit, 1 error, and nobody left on base. To the 6th we go. It is 6-0 in favor of Bourne.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod Coca-Cola has been proudly refreshing the community for 30-plus years, and we're honored to support the CCBL and many other wonderful organizations on the Cape. Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
University of Rhode Island, Jackson Coots.
Coots, Tawa, and Cantrell due up for the Commodores, who have gone down 15 in a row now. Mac Lardner still out on the bump, and why not? First pitch, curveball. Picks up right where it left off. Strike at the knees to Jackson Coots.
So we said it last inning when Chris Gonzalez came out that he's barely been able to get a rest, but a lot of times pitchers like that because they can stay in the groove. Meanwhile, Lardner has been getting, a lot of rest. Jeez, that pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
So good. He's been getting a lot of rest because, some innings he's out there, he's in the dugout for 5 minutes. Some innings he's out there for 10 minutes in the dugout, and, that can really mess up some pitchers, the inconsistencies, but he's been looking just as good as ever.
0-2 misses low. It's a fastball to Jackson Coots, who is a ground out victim his first time up. Who hasn't been? As there have now been 7 ground outs for the Doors.
Only 2 guys have not grounded out.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Holy moly, Lardner is on fire right now, not allowing Falmouth to even think about getting back into this game, at least so far. He now has 6 Ks.
Yeah, the best they're going to be able to do, to my, sight right now, that just what I'm seeing is they're just going to have to work deep counts and hope that they can get his pitch count up, because you're not going to be able to get hits against him. He's not throwing a lot of balls. Just do what you can to get him to throw balls, do what you can to extend counts by fouling pitches away, and hope that you can get to the bullpen sooner than the 9th inning.
Tawa with a big swing at the fastball, but he comes up empty, 0-1. Seems like the top half of each inning has been extremely quick. The bottom halves have dragged on. 6-0 Bourne as fastball misses low and away, 1-1.
Yeah, it's 6-1 in the hits column. I mean, we've seen Falmouth come back from a lot of games recently, but it hasn't been this, shut down.
Swing and a miss on the off speed, 1-2. Tawa, a ground out victim his first time up, and Danny, the Commodores have overcome a 5-run deficit to tie the game against Hyannis, but that is the largest comeback they've made. The 1-2.
This one into the gap in left center field. Fabian has a read on it, and he makes the catch at the track. That's the hardest contact we've seen from a Commodore tonight, but it still results in an out.
And that's unfortunate because Tawa absolutely annihilated that baseball. He found a mistake that was made by Lardner, one of the very few mistakes he's made, left a fastball over the middle of the plate about thigh high with 2 strikes. So Tawa's going to unload on that just about every single time. Just couldn't get enough power behind it. Probably hitting to the deepest part of the ballpark too.
Fabian made the catch over his shoulder, about 5 feet in front of the fence. Swing and a miss from Cantrell, 0-1. Lardner looks into his catcher, Jackson Greer. They have been working tonight. Ball skips in the dirt. So Greer looks behind him, asks Joe Peters for a new ball. His wish is granted. He throws it back out to Lardner, who wipes the mound with his cleat, settles in the windup, exhales, doesn't even look for a sign, and fires. Curveball, just a bit high, 2-1.
That one was close. Dropped in right about the belt.
Two one. Fastball just a bit low.
Well, Hayden with a 3-1 count. He's got a good eye, can work some walks, and he's probably the guy you want up at the plate right now. Just anybody to try to break this groove that the pitcher Lardner has been in. Obviously, you want Hayden up with runners on base because he's your best bet of getting a hit. But given the way you've been playing right now, you just want him to break up this stretch.
Strike number 2 makes the count full in the outside part of the plate. And if my scorecard is correct, this is just the second 3-ball count we've seen. The first was to Steven Moretto. Strike number 3, it was a low pitch that skipped in the dirt. Hayden Cantrell is frustrated. He is a strikeout victim. Now 7 Ks and 18 doors retired in a row. Lardner has been perfect since the first batter of the game for Falmouth, and it's still 6-0 Bourne into the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Justin Robleski out for his first full inning of work. He pitched a third of an inning, and the only out was on the base paths. As now the Bourne Braves will try to add to their 6-0 lead, Danny. And let's take a look at Gonzalez's final line. Solid, but still not good enough.
Yeah, 4 2/3, 6 runs, 3 of them earned, allowed 5 hits, 2 walks, no strikeouts. That's definitely not going to go down as a solid outing.
Strike 1 comes in to Jared Poland. Poland was up at the plate. He saw 1 ball. Then he had to head back to the dugout because thrown out on the base paths was Kyler Fedko. Curveball. He gets a piece of it. 0-2.
And it felt like, the Doors were very sloppy, that they didn't really have the same mentality that they've had recently against Chatham when it was 6-0 after the first couple of innings. They ended up coming back to make it 6-5, so they made it close. That's what it feels like right now. We'll see if they still have that fight in them because there's still a little bit more to go. I mean, that game against Chatham was only 7 innings. This one's 9.
The 0-2 low and in the dirt to Poland. 1-2. Commodores are down 6-0 against Chatham and then scored 5 straight, as my partner alluded to. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Robleski gets his first strikeout for the first out of the bottom of the 6th.
Love that from Robleski. Goes up and in with the fastball and makes sure that he ties Poland up. A lot of times we see Cape League pitchers try to go with a strikeout pitch with their fastball. I think that's to impress the scouts, and I think it's also, so that they can have that weapon in the back of their mind, because to have a 2-strike pitch that's always a curveball can get predictable. And Robleski does it well. A lot of guys leave it over the middle of the plate and they go letter high, which can lead to trouble. He goes up and in and makes sure that they couldn't get the arms extended.
Strike 1 to Brendan Rivoli, who singled his last time up in the 4th. Rivoli, a guy who had been struggling mightily at the plate, entered the game with a .091 batting average. Check swing. Yes, he went around, says Joe Peters. 0-2. Rivoli, 0 for his first 11 on the summer, had an 0 for 20 stretch that was snapped in the doubleheader against Hyannis on the 6th. Robleski fastball outside. 2-2.
Looks like he tripped after his landing spot, too. That's why his entire body carried the baseball away into the right-handed batter's box.
Rivoli just 3 for 33 entering the evening, but he has reached base both times. He's hit by a pitch and then singled. The 1-2. Skied into shallow center. This might even stay on the infield. It will for Hayden Cantrell, who moves over to his right and makes the catch. 2 down.
This is exactly what the Doors need. They need a 1-2-3 inning. They haven't had one since the 2nd inning when it was only 1-0. They need a really quick inning. They need something to go their way, anything to go their way right now, because it has been all Bourne through the first 5 2/3. If they can get this 1-2-3 inning, maybe it can give them a little bit of confidence in their back pockets.
Robleski, with the sun shining on him, he throws into the shade to Claunch. High fastball to Judd Fabian. 1 ball and no strikes. Robleski, a 10.38 ERA with the Tigers this past year, but in just 13 innings of work. Here's a fly ball that's skied back behind us. Robleski, a 36th round pick out of high school by the Seattle Mariners. From Canton, Georgia, went to Sequoia High School. His cousin played baseball at Michigan, the Wolverines runners-up in the National Championship Series this year. Swing and a miss, strike 1. And he's a guy with a lot of potential that the scouts are definitely watching. He was the number 10 rated freshman in the ACC by perfect game before the season. Freshman campaign didn't go exactly as he wanted, but he definitely has some time before he's draft eligible. The 1-1, swung on and missed, strike 2. Excuse me, it was strike 3.
Scoreboard had it wrong.
Scoreboard was a little behind, but Justin Robleski will take it. He gives a fist bump to Troy Claunch, and the Doors get exactly what they need. It's a 1-2-3 inning worked as we head to the 7th. 6-0 Bourne.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Welcome back to Durand Park. I'm Daniel LaRose, joined alongside David Korzanowski as we enter the top of the 7th inning. And right before the Falmouth Commodores get up to the plate for their 7th time tonight, they have been held all but hitless all game long. Only 1 hit that they've mustered, and that came in the first inning against Mac Lardner. So we'll send it back over to our sideline reporter, Katie Florio, to let us know how the Doors are going to approach Lardner, who has been fantastic.
Thanks, Danny. I just talked to Steven Moretto when he came off the field, and he said they're struggling against Lardner tonight because he's changing speeds very well. He's also throwing all of his pitches for strike, and they're trying to pull everything instead of staying back and patient. So just some uneasiness in the box. It's difficult for them to sit on a certain pitch and really feel comfortable.
Thank you, Katie. So the Doors unable to feel comfortable. Got to chalk that up to Lardner's ability to pepper the strike zone constantly and changing up the velocity, the pace, and he does it right there as the first pitch breaking ball is thrown past Blake Dunn. Lardner continues to do exactly what Steven Moretto said he has been doing, and that's just keeping them uneasy. Like I said, a lot of interchanging of pitches helps you out with that, as here's a fly ball into right field. That'll be an easy put out in F9 on your scorecards to begin us in the 7th.
At bat, number 9 from Texas.
He's just been so impressive, Danny. I mean, what is it now, 19 in a row he's retired?
Yep.
Unbelievable. And the thing is, he's not trying to strike out guys, right? He's not leaning on that strikeout. I know from Carmen Majinski yesterday we saw an ungodly amount of Ks through the first 3 1/3, and then tried to zip a fastball past the cleanup man. Was taken for a ride.
Deloach grounds this towards the right side. Diving play made. Throw on to first. Not in time. Zach Deloach beats it out, as that was a pretty play made by Jared Poland at second base. Full extension to keep it from going into right field, but Zach showing some speed in the 3-hole, as now the Doors have only their second hit of the ball game.
But that's a huge one, Danny, especially in the 7th inning with Lardner now approaching 75 pitches. Get on in any way you can in this kind of situation, right? Because the dugout was ecstatic after Deloach beat that one out, and they're hoping to then sort of snowball on that.
Ball 1 sits low to Trey Cruz. So after that hit, only 2 over the minimum for Lardner, as he led up the first base runner that he saw of the ball game, Hayden Cantrell, with a single, and now here in the 7th, Zach Deloach gets on. Another ball low to Trey Cruz, 2-0. It's been 1, 2, 3 innings from the 2nd through the 6th. First inning, he faced 4 batters. Here in the 7th, trying to keep it that way. The 2-0. Pop up, and that one's going to go out of play right behind the Falmouth dugout on the first base side.
And we saw late in the 6th inning, Danny, he got behind 3-1 to Cantrell, so maybe missing the zone a little bit more as he's behind in this count, 2-1. Commodores trying to smell any blood and try to pounce. This is also the longest Lardner has ever gone in a game.
Lardner from the stretch for the first time in a long time, as he gets a fastball over the middle part of the plate to paint the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Cruz, who's 0 for 2 with a fly out and a ground out. A lot more flyouts from Falmouth as of recently. 3 in the last 4 innings, which says a lot. Here's a ground ball over towards third, gives Warren trouble. His throw into second is in time for 1. Cruz is going to come into first base without a throw. So Deloach is erased from the base paths on another fielder's choice.
And we saw a similar sequence in the first inning. Cantrell reached on a single, and then Dunn reached on a fielder's choice from Poland to Morissette. That time, hard ground ball to Warren, who knocked it down. And I thought he was going to go to first, but Deloach was still straggling a little bit, getting over towards second base, so he got the lead runner in plenty of time.
So Cruz now on first base with 2 outs here in the 7th. 6-0 in favor of Bourne as Troy Claunch takes a strike over the inside part of the plate. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout, ground out to third. Like Moretto was saying, these Doors hitters are trying to pull the baseball, and a lot of them have been ground outs to third base. Warren has been busy. Here's the 0-1. That goes the other way, but foul.
And it seems just like that. It seems like in 30 seconds, Lardner's 1 strike away from ending this inning.
Falmouth got a little bit of momentum with 1 out in the 7th. Zach Deloach reached on a single, and now there are 2 outs. Here's the 0-2. Cruz is running, swing and a miss. Claunch goes down, so it won't matter. A swinging strikeout caps off the first busy 7th inning, or the first busy inning, I should say, for Falmouth in a long time, as they score no runs, do get 1 hit, no errors, and strand a runner on the base paths. To the bottom of the 7th we go. It's stretch time in Bourne, with the hometown team leading by 6.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Bottom of the 7th just about to get underway. Justin Robleski still on the hill for the Commodores, and he's been efficient since he has entered the ball game. First couple of batters he faced reached. Kyler Fedko had a double and an RBI off of him. He was quickly erased from the base paths. Then a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th by Robleski, so he doesn't have an earned run against him yet. Troy Claunch throws down to second base, and we are just about to get this 7th inning, or I should say the bottom of the 7th inning started. The lights have still yet to come on here in Bourne. It's only 7:38, and there's still a lot of sunlight streaking over right field, painting a lot of the right side dirt. Robleski is completely in the shade, as is Xavier Warren, who's the right-handed bat. But like I said, from about second base all the way towards the foul line, still in the sunlight.
Yeah, this game's still moving very quickly.
Warren, the righty, against Robleski, the lefty. Warren watches a fastball come in high. Xavier's 0 on the day. Was hit by a pitch his first time up and came around to score. Next inning, grounded into a double play. After that, grounded out to second. Here's the 1-0 on the outside corner for a strike.
Maybe bad news for the Commodores is Lardner likely coming out of the game in the 8th, but Carl Johnson is warming, and he hasn't given up a run all summer.
1-1, checks his swing, does Warren. Comes in a little bit low, no dice, says first base umpire Joe Hinojosa. So Bourne was, like you said, a team starved for good pitching, and all of a sudden in this ball game they have their 2 best guys ready to go.
Well, the thing is, Bourne's pitching in the earlier part of the year when they were about 500 was outstanding.
2-1 is chopped over up the middle. Hayden Cantrell can't make the stab on his backhand as it took a quirky bounce and went up and over his 5'11" frame. That gets into center field. Warren will be on first base, but he gets away with one.
Yeah, hard hit ball from Warren. As that is ruled a hit as it should be. Would have been a really tough play for Cantrell. I want to go back to the Bourne pitching though, Danny, because when they've won, it's been the pitching that's really kept them in the game. In this 2-8 stretch in their last 10, 6 of those losses coming when they give up 4 runs or more. So when they've faltered, it's been because the pitching hasn't been great. Tonight it's been outstanding trying to get them back on the right track.
First pitch fastball is a little bit too high to Cade Beloso, and he's had himself quite a day. Started out 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. Then in the 5th, he walked and finally came around to cross home plate. That was a 2-run 5th. That has pretty much been the icing on the cake so far. Broken bat, ground ball towards second. Cantrell's only play is to first. That one took forever to get to the second baseman, Hayden, and his out at first means Warren can get over to second.
Important couple batters coming up, Danny, because you got Glowenke and Greer, 2 guys who have yet to get a hit today but have been hitting the ball hard. They're hitters 4 and 5 in this order, and it's really when Falmouth needs to just lock down. In this situation, they need a hold from Robleski and give it to the batters for a chance to come back in this one. They can't afford another run.
Warren with an enormous lead off of second base as that one is slapped into center field, and Xavier Warren will score easily before that one even reached the left fielder, Tawa. Warren was already coming over and crossing home plate. It's an RBI single for Jimmy Glowenke, his 2nd RBI of the game.
Glowenke stays red hot against the Commodores. He was 3 for 4 last time these 2 teams played at Duran Park. Now 2 RBIs today with a single and a sac fly.
David, Warren was halfway down the base paths when he was taking his lead. He was standing where Trey Cruz normally stands at shortstop. That's how far he was. So he was going to take third base with ease. And it ended up that he was able to score with ease because of the single from Glowenke as a first pitch goes into the dirt to Jackson Greer. So now it's 7-0, and things are looking bleaker and bleaker for the Commodores.
Yeah, this is one of their largest deficits of the year, Danny. down 7.
They've already been blown out once by Bourne, 10-2. That was an 8-run loss, and they're staring that right in the face right here. As a fastball misses high to Greer, now it's 2-0.
Yeah, and their losses as of late, 7-3 in their last 10, have all been really close. This is the first time they've been down this big, this late in the game in a few weeks now.
Robleski from the stretch, taking his time, lifts and fires home. Misses low, ball 3. So far, neither of the pitchers they have turned to have been all that dominant. Gonzalez got hit around and threw a couple of walks. Now Robleski having his control issues, and he's been hit around quite a bit. The Commodores, it's crazy how they can hang with one of the top teams, the top team in the Cape, the Chatham Anglers. 3-0. Below the knees, ball 4. Greer is going to reach with a walk. There are now runners on first and second, only 1 out. As I was saying, though, I mean, they can hang with Chatham, where they split a doubleheader with them. Both of those games were 1-run deficits, and Chatham's easily, the most talented roster, I think, and they're tops in the East. They can hang with YD, where they split a doubleheader with them, lost at YD only 4-3. Another close game. I mean, they took 2 games from Katuitt earlier this week, a little bit into last week. And Katuitt at the time was tops in the Western Division. When they play those basement teams in the West, Bourne and Hyannis, they have maybe their worst games of the season.
My initial reaction to that is 2 things. One is that's baseball, right? Because you see even in the MLB, some teams in the basement playing the top teams in a 3-game series, and they're usually split, and the sweeps don't often happen. So if you're playing a team 6 times, it doesn't matter if they're Hyannis or Bourne or where they are in the standings. You're probably not winning all 6. That's my first reaction. And then 2 is that there's a lot of parity in this league. I mean, even with Hyannis, a team that has only 5 wins on the summer, they get a couple guys like Rowdy Jordan from Mississippi State. All of a sudden, they can
Right.
win 3 games in a row, no problem, because these are the best players on the Cape, and they're spread out. They're not all just on one team.
Cody Morissette, who's one of the best players on the Cape, watches a ball up high. You're right. I mean, this Bourne team has seen some additions from Louisville,
Right.
so getting some Omaha talent always helps. Falmouth didn't get any Omaha talent. Their Auburn guys opted not to come. The 1-0 from Robleski, and he cannot find the strike zone as that one is way outside. Even after a visit from pitching coach Mike Landry, still delivers 2 balls well out of the zone. Morissette with a hit in the 4th, came around to score an RBI on a sac fly in the 5th. The 2-0 goes right down the middle, Morissette taking all the way.
Fastball's got some giddy up from Robleski, a loud pop in the mitt of Troy Claunch. Robleski stands at just 6'1", but he can definitely get a lot behind his heater.
The 2-1. Ground ball towards the right side. That's going to get through the hole. Cantrell playing in double play depth was nowhere near. Deloach comes up firing towards second base and scoring without a test is Jimmy Glowenke, make it 8-0 in favor of the Braves.
Wow, this has been quite the fall back to earth, Danny, after winning 6 of their last 7. Again, I don't want to call this game over, but it really feels like all Bourne tonight. 8-0. Now they've put up 2 runs in 3 different innings, in the 4th, the 5th, and the 7th. It hasn't just been one bad inning, right, for the Commodores? It's been very spread out, and Bourne's offense has showed up big time.
Bourne has scored a run in every single inning except for the 2nd and the 6th. 2 runs in the 4th, 2 runs in the 5th, now 2 runs here in the 7th, and a chance for more with 1st and 2nd, as the first pitch curveball does not break and stays up high to Kyler Fedko. Fedko 1 for 3, had an RBI double in the 5th, then was tagged out trying to steal third base, and that ended the inning. The 1-0 misses low again, and Robleski is just having a real tough time finding the zone. Seems like every other outing for him is a tough one with the strike zone.
And I think something Robleski needs to work on is his response after giving up a couple hits, because I think some guys are better at short-term memory and just moving on to the next batter and attacking the strike zone. But once Robleski gets a couple runs across, it seems like he's then trying to miss the zone and give him nothing to hit, and then he's issuing walks.
2-0, swing and a pop-up foul behind home plate. Fedko will now face a 2-1 count after he got a very good pitch to hit, but just got a little bit under it.
But I think of a guy like Carmen Majinski, right? He goes out and he shoves in the first 3 and a third, gives up a 2-run home run, and then he strikes out the next 3 batters he faces. I think that's the kind of response that Wroblewski has to try to emulate.
Back-to-back 2-1 counts. Morissette able to get an RBI single on his last one. The 2-1 pitch. Fly ball into shallow right field. Hayden is back. Deloach comes in. Hayden Cantrell will make the catch just about 15 feet onto the grass in the outfield. And a merciful out number 2 after 3 straight batters reached base before then.
Yeah, it was merciful, Danny. I thought it was going to get down as a bloop single into right field because Kyler Fedko doubled his last time up, so the outfield was playing way back.
Yeah.
I mean, Deloach had no chance on that ball. It was either Cantrell or another hit. Luckily, Hayden Cantrell making a nice catch over the shoulder.
Jared Poland now will come up to the plate, 1 for 3 with an RBI single coming in the 4th inning for the right-handed bat from Louisville as he corks this one into deep left center field. That one's going to one-hop the fence and rattle off the top of it. It goes back into the outfield as 2 runs will score on the double. The cutoff throw gets away from the shortstop Cruz, and the Braves continue to pour it on. They have a double-digit lead.
Poland was looking fastball on the first pitch, and he took it for a ride. Now a single and a double for Jared Poland. That's his first multi-hit game of the summer. He came into the night 3 for 10, and now he moves to 5 for 14. Close to 350 average for the Cardinal.
Now the 9-hitter Brendan Rivoli will be at the dish. He's already reached base twice. I mean, 1 through 9, this lineup has been tearing apart Falmouth pitching. Lefty-lefty matchup. Rivoli watches a pitch outside. He's gotten up to the plate 4 times in the last 5 innings. First plate appearance was in the 3rd, got up in the 4th, got up in the 6th, now in the 7th.
Longest half inning for the Braves bats as well. This is now the 8th batter to come to the plate.
Foul ball makes it 1-1. Runner on second is Jared Poland. He now has 3 RBIs on this ball game. The pitch, upstairs, ball 2.
Looking through the batting order for Bourne, just 2 guys held without a hit. Judd Fabian, who's 0 for 3. He reached twice on a walk and an error. And Jackson Greer, who I think's maybe hit the ball the hardest out of anyone tonight with 2 long flyouts to left and a ground out.
2-1 the count to the lefty Rivoli from the University of Virginia. The pitch, flown out towards left field. This one is fading fast, and it will fall just foul. 2-2 goes the count.
Talk about merciful, Danny. I thought that was going to be down the line. But it was hooking, landed about 2 or 3 feet foul. Tawa would have had no chance to make the play.
Brendan Rivoli was 1 for his last 15 entering today's ball game. That 1 hit came in yesterday's ball game. He's got another hit today. One of those Braves that has their 10 hits. They have 10 runs on those 10 hits. Falmouth, meanwhile, no runs on 2 hits. It has just been all Bourne all night long. Here's the pitch. Outside, and it's a full count.
I think that was just a frustrated fastball from Wroblewski. He tried to fire it past Rivoli, the high cheddar, but it went way outside. I think he was just maybe over-gripping it. Release point just a tad late. That looked like just a frustration pitch from the lefty.
Here's the payoff pitch. That one is hit out into left center field. Dunn is calling for it, and he will make the catch on the run to retire the side. But Justin Wroblewski has a tough 7th inning as he allows 4 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and strands a runner on second base. As we head to the top of the 8th inning, pretty much at this point for Falmouth, it's claw away in any way you can. They trail by 10.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Back in action here in the top of the 8th inning. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzanowski. And David, let's take a look at the games ahead, just because, I mean, I think everybody associated with the Falmouth Commodores wants to forget about this game already.
So 3 more road trips coming up for the Doors in the next 3 days. Hyannis, Katuitt, and Chatham on the docket. Hyannis is somehow, some way, 1-0-1 against the Commodores. So they have not lost to Falmouth yet this year, despite being 5th in the West Division. We alluded to that earlier. And then later in the week, they'll get another chance against the Braves on Friday. Home matchup on Saturday against Brewster. And then next week, another couple road trips, YD and Hyannis. The grind does not stop for the Commodores or for the Braves. Falmouth with 32 games and 31 days in the month of July. And Bourne right now in the stretch of 17 days straight with games.
So back-to-back games against the 2 teams in the basement of the Western Division for the Falmouth Commodores, and game 1 not looking pretty. It is 10-0 in favor of Bourne, as Carl Johnson is going to be the pitcher. He replaces Mac Lardner, who was magnificent. First pitch Johnson throws is to a pinch hitter, Tyler Ross. The switch hitter comes in to replace Taylor Smith, and Ross batting from the left side.
Carl Johnson, a 1-0 record, no runs allowed this year.
There's a strike to Ross. Quickly, a ball and a strike.
He's pitched 10 innings, walked just 1, and struck out 11. Most of his outings in middle relief. He goes about 2 innings when he comes out.
Pardon me, it's 0-2, and there's the 0-2 that sits a little too far inside.
So I think, Danny, what you're going to see here from manager Harvey Shapiro for Bourne is just an extended save for Carl Johnson. He'll probably come out and try to finish this game and pitch the 8th and the 9th.
We'll see if he can keep that ERA at 0. Here's the 1-2 down in the dirt. I mean, you would think that this is a mercy for Falmouth finally seeing Lardner go away, because he was incredible, as we've said multiple times. 7 innings of work, 2 hits, 8 Ks, nothing else. There's a line drive off the bat of Ross. It's into deep right field, and that one's going to get down and roll to the fence. Tyler rounds first. He's heading into second, and he's going to stand up there with a leadoff double. Tyler Ross gets things going here in the 8th for the Doors. They're not quiet.
All right, so Johnson, the most hits he's given up in one outing is 2. He faces 1 batter. It's a pinch hitter in Tyler Ross, and he cracks a double to right center field. Doors have been the comeback kids. I mean, this would be a ridiculous comeback. They still got a long way to go, though.
Tyler Ross started the season 0 for 11. He now has 4 hits in his last 7 at-bats as he improves to 4 for 17. Steven Moretto is going to come up to the plate with a runner on second. Moretto so far in the ballgame 0 for 2 because just about everybody is. Time is going to be called, and looks like the catcher Greer is going to go out and talk things over with Carl Johnson. He and Johnson couldn't get on the same page, so Moretto has to bide his time. Only guys to get hits before that one from Ross were Cantrell and Deloach, and they're both at the top of the lineup. We started off with the 6 hitters, so it's going to be a while till we get back to that top part of the lineup where some of the more consistent hitters are.
Just 3 base runners for the Commodores tonight. Another stat that jumps out to me, no walks for the Bourne pitching staff. They have the 2nd fewest as a team, coming into the night with just 56.
First pitch to Moretto is on the outside part of the plate, a ball and no strikes.
Team with the fewest walks issued, Falmouth, with just 51. Gonzalez had 2 tonight, Robleski with 1 himself.
Righty-righty matchup. Johnson, lanky, lifts the leg, comes home. Breaking ball that just gets at the belt. That one looked a little bit high crossing the plate, but it does land in for a strike. And it's now 0-2 to the Falmouth third baseman.
Moretto talking to our own Katie Florio about how Lardner did a good job mixing up speeds. Now he has to go up against a completely new pitcher in Johnson. He's just the second batter to face him.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to keep the other team on their toes. 0-2, fastball swung on, hit in towards right field along the line. Chasing it is Fedko. He makes the grab on the foul line. Trying to tag up is Tyler Ross. Throw comes in on a ricochet. Cody Morissette jumped up trying to cut it off, and that, I think, slowed it down. Probably could have been a closer play than it was.
Yeah, I still think Ross would have been safe, but sometimes those cutoffs can be a little tricky because you don't want the ball to be wild and you want to make sure it stays in play. You don't want any errors. But on a play like that, or perhaps a preemptive cut-up, or a premature cutoff, I should say, you can spoil a chance for a play at each bag.
So now Jackson Coots will be at the dish, and he's got a chance to break this scoreless drought that Falmouth has been in. He fouls that one off. 0-1 to the Rhode Island Ram. Coots, who's 0 for 2. Falmouth trailing 10-0, could get their first run. All they need is either a ground ball or a fly ball. Ross is on third with only one out.
Falmouth has been shut out in just one game this year. It was a 1-0 loss to Harwich in 7 innings on Father's Day.
The 0-1 fouled back into the screen, 0-2, and that's a Harwich team who pretty much all season long has been towards the tops in the Cape League in pitching. We saw Logan Allen that day, who was arguably the best pitcher on the Cape, got snatched up by Team USA halfway through the summer. And that was also when Falmouth was at their worst offensively. Here's the 0-2. At the knees, strike 3 called. Beautiful frame by Jackson Greer. Coots takes another look at the plate as he walks back towards the dugout, a strikeout victim for the second time in a row.
Tough night for Coots. Tough night for the Commodores as Danny, another pinch hitter.
Yeah, it's going to be Austin Maisel stepping in for Tim Tawa. Can assume that Maisel is going to play left field as well. Tawa was 0 for 2. Maisel takes a fastball, catches the inside corner. He moved his upper body backwards as if it came too close for comfort, but maybe just standing so close towards home plate that it was still a strike. Here's the 0-1. Maisel with a late swing just manages to foul it away towards the Bourne dugout. Now it's no balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs, and Ross, potential of stranding him on third.
Maisel, in games that he started, has been held hitless just once. He was 0 for 2 his last time out against Brewster.
Here's the 0-2, fouled away yet again. Falmouth has only had 1 base runner get into scoring position, and that happened in this inning. It's the man at third base, Tyler Ross. After him, Moretto advanced him from second to third with a flyout. Jackson Cooch struck out in a golden opportunity to scratch away a run. Maisel trying to break the shutout. The pitch off the plate, skips a little bit away, but Greer just able to get there in time, keep it close enough that Ross couldn't threaten, and good idea from Tyler Ross to stay put because Johnson got there in a hurry. Jackson Greer got to it real quick as well, and that would have been an easy put out at home if he tried to steal. One, two, the count now to the Holy Cross Crusader batting from the left side. Here's the pitch. Another late swing and another foul ball. So he's staying right on some of these pitches.
Yeah, he's seeing them well. And just working a longer at bat. I don't have a stat on what's the longest at bat of this game, but I don't think it's been more than maybe 6 or 7 pitches.
Definitely not. 1-2 fouled away yet again. And we definitely haven't seen this many swings.
Right.
Because more often than not against Lardner, when we saw swings, it was either putting the ball in play on the ground or swinging right through it.
Johnson pounding the strike zone, though. He's fired just 3 balls to his 14 strikes.
Still 1-2 to Maisel. The pitch. Downstairs, good eye from Austin.
Yeah, that was a good eye. Again, right about knee high. That's where he froze up Jackson Coots. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the longest at-bat that Falmouth has worked because it definitely feels like it.
.445 average for Maisel, trying to extend it as he blasts this into right center field. But there is Kyler Fedko, who makes the catch on the run. Maisel got good wood. It looked good off the bat, but it died out in the outfield. Falmouth scores no runs on one hit, no errors, and they strand a runner on third base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's still 10-0 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
Home half of the 8th getting ready to get underway. On the bump is going to be Sean Mullen coming on in relief for Justin Robleski. Mullen from the University of California, Los Angeles, has seen a couple of appearances so far this season, and he's been pretty sharp.
Yeah, Danny, 6 2/3 innings of work, a 2.70 ERA. He hasn't allowed an earned run since his first time out against Yarmouth Dennis. That was 2 earned runs on a home run that he gave up. But his last time out against Chatham was in that 6-5 loss on Friday. Pitched 2 innings, didn't allow an earned run, just had 1 hit against him, no walks and a strikeout.
So he'll come on here in the 8th inning just in mop-up duty with the Commodores trailing 10-0. This should be the last time up at the plate for Bourne, who don't really need insurance runs.
You don't think so?
I think they're comfortable. I'd be surprised if we don't see a bunch of pinch hitters, as we're already seeing one. Judd Fabian's day is done. They're going to bring in a different lefty this time around to face the right-handed Sean Mullen.
It's Giovanni DiGiacomo from LSU, rising sophomore with the Tigers. Had a 2.75 ERA during his freshman campaign.
He shows bunt the first pitch he sees, pulls it back, but takes a strike at the knees anyway. David, normally I try to keep up with all of the, adjustments and stuff and cross them out on my scorecard, write them back in. But last time up for Bourne, it's 10-0. His name's DiGiacomo. I'm not doing it. Ball misses low.
DiGiacomo with a 2.35 average this summer. He has hits in 4 of his 6 games that he's played. He was 0 for 2 against Falmouth on June 29th. He strikes out a lot, Danny. 9 strikeouts already this summer in 17 at-bats.
The 1-1 from Mullen misses low again. 2 balls and a strike. Pac-12 facing SEC in this matchup. Couple of powerhouses from their respective conferences. Here's the 2-1. Another ball low as Mullen is keeping everything below the knees, but he's not getting any chases from DiGiacomo. That's good for a strike. DiGiacomo thought it was going to be ball 4. Started to flip the bat back towards his dugout on the third base side, but has to step back in to the batter's box. Now a full count to the lefty. Mullen's payoff pitch. Launched out in towards left field. That one's going to fall for a base hit in front of Austin Maisel. So how about that? 3-2 count. Looked like DiGiacomo was going to be down for the count after he thought he was going to get a walk, but he responds with a hit, and he's on first.
Poked it into the opposite field with the righty Mullen firing into the lefty DiGiacomo. Good piece of hitting, and now 11 hits for Bourne tonight.
Xavier Warren is going to get up to the plate for the 5th time in this ball game. His first hit only in the 7th inning. That led off the inning. First pitch swinging, and he comes up empty. Switch hitter, whose last couple times up were against Robleski and Gonzalez, so this is the first time we're seeing him from the left side. Seeing a whole host of pinch hitters coming out on deck and in the hole for Bourne. There's a ball just outside from Mullen.
Yeah, why not? 10-0 game. Get him some chances at the plate.
Mullen paying no attention to DiGiacomo at first. There's a foul ball from Warren that trickles up the third base line. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the third baseman from Central Michigan.
And on deck, Nick Brewser from Stanford.
Here's the 1-2. Downstairs, good block by Troy Claunch. As the silver lining for Claunch is he's gotten better defensively as the game has wore on.
Definitely, Danny. It's kind of one of those positions. Catcher is kind of a thankless position. You're only getting noticed if balls are getting behind you. In some cases, at least defensively. But he's done a great job stopping them in these latter innings.
2-2. Downstairs again. Mullen has worked now back-to-back full counts. Issue being he keeps missing low, and these Bourne hitters are patient as ever.
And he hasn't issued a walk yet this summer compared to his 8 strikeouts, so perhaps a little uncommon to see him struggle with control.
Payoff pitch. Downstairs, ball 4. There it is, the first walk allowed by Sean Mullen on the summer. And it just seems like every single time Falmouth turns towards another arm, they're not really getting their best.
Landry coming out of the dugout again. We've seen a handful of mound visits from the pitching coach today as Mullen takes off his hat and runs his fingers through his hair. This has been a tough one, Danny.
Yeah, this is a pitching staff that starters through the bullpen. Pretty much everybody has been excellent over the past week, week and a half, and all of a sudden it has all come to a crashing halt. As you mentioned, it's a real come down to earth for the Commodores, who realize that, you know, they're not untouchable. They may have won 6 of their last 7 of their last 10, but still a lot of talent across the Cape that can beat them up.
Exactly. Can't get complacent in the Cape League, especially when you're playing every day. The good news is, though, you can bounce back tomorrow.
A couple of changes in the field as well for the Doors. Barron Radcliffe has jumped into right field. Kevin Kendall now at second base, replacing Hayden Cantrell. In center field, it looks like Austin Maisel, and I know there's a lefty in left field that doesn't look like Austin Langworthy, but it is Austin Langworthy, I'm being told. Another Austin in center in Maisel, who came on to pinch hit. There's a high fly ball off the bat of Brewser, but it goes way foul.
Some funny cheers from the Bourne Braves fans and players saying that that ball was fair. It was not. It was about 50 feet foul, but why not add 3 more, I guess, if you're Bourne?
Yeah, if it was fair, it would have been 50 feet over the wall.
Yeah, that thing was destroyed. Brewser at the plate for Bourne.
Sean Mullen hasn't been looking as dominant as he did his last time out. Nick Brewser with a 192 average on the summer so far. Here's the pitch. Line drive up and over Kevin Kendall and into right field. Radcliffe comes on, takes it on a couple of funny bounces as that one skipped up near his head, but he's able to keep it in front of him. And now 2 hits in 3 batters faced has loaded up the bases for Bourne in the 8th.
It's just never ending for the Commodores here on this Monday night game as Kyle Hess, another pinch hitter, comes in. And these pinch hitters want in on the party, right? DiGiacomo comes in, he gets a single. Brewser comes in, he gets a single. Now Kyle Hess from Pittsburgh, 194 average on the summer, hits in his last 2 starts. He wants in on the action, and nobody out with the bases loaded. Not ideal.
First pitch to Hess is up and away. It has been first pitch balls for the most part from Sean Mullen, which does not help. Got DiGiacomo on third, Warren on second, Brewser on first. The 1-0. Gets the outside edge, evens up the count.
Hess with a 254 average during his freshman year out at Pittsburgh. He's from Pennsylvania, growing up in Mount Joy.
The 1-1 from Mullins, swung on and missed. Belt-high fastball that he couldn't catch up to. 4 runs were put on the board in the 7th inning for Bourne that pretty much put this thing out of reach. They've got a chance to put up even more in this inning if they can get a merry-go-round to go in motion. Already up 10-0, so at this point it's just to pad the stat lines. Mullen from the stretch, a little bit of a staggered stance, lifts the leg flag and comes home. Beautiful curveball, swing and a miss. Hess goes down on strikes. That's exactly what Sean Mullen needed to get the first out of the inning.
At bat, number 37 from East Tennessee State, Jackson Greer.
Now Jackson Greer comes up to the plate, Danny, and a double play could get you out unscathed. A comeback might not be totally feasible for the top of the 9th for the Commodores, but could get you a little bit of momentum perhaps. Something positive to take into tomorrow if the defense with those 2 errors can lock it down now.
First pitch to Greer is a curveball over the middle of the plate for a strike. And something this reminds me of is the Orleans Firebirds went on a 7-game win streak last week, and then that came to a halt, and they've now gone on a losing streak, 5-game losing streak. And in the middle of that losing streak, they had a very humbling loss to the Wareham Gatemen, where Wareham jumped up on them 12-0 through 4 innings, ended up winning 15-6 as that breaking ball is blocked in the dirt by Clonch, 1-1. And I don't want to get ahead of myself and say that, Falmouth is going to lose their winning ways and this is the game that's kind of the turnaround that brings them back to earth, but seems like there's a little bit of similarities there. Everything was going right for the Doors to this point. The 1-1 to Greer, fastball that is launched into deep left center field. Back is Maisel. He's at the wall, and he cannot make the grab. It's up and over the wall. A grand slam for Jackson Greer, because why not? Bourne continues to pour it on with 4 runs in this inning on 1 swing of the bat. It is 14-0.
Jackson Greer, who has been leapfrogging all around the Cape League. He played for Harwich. He played for YD. He's found a home here in Bourne, and he has been great as of late, Danny. 4 doubles for the number 5 hitter, and he was due for a hit. He really was. He hit a couple really hard hit balls to left field this game. He walked and scored in the 7th and goes yard against Mullen into left center. His first home run of the summer puts the Braves up 2 touchdowns.
Ball number 1 comes in high to Cody Morissette, and that was hit closer towards center than left center, probably the deepest part of the ballpark he could have put it. I got to say maybe 410 is my estimation on that grand slam. High fastball swung on and missed by Morissette, so Sean Mullen's 2.70 ERA has now just skyrocketed as he allows 4 runs on 3 hits, also allowed a walk, only got 1 out to this point. 14-0. 13 hits for Bourne as well. 3 for the Doors.
Danny, I want to go back to your point about the similarities with Orleans maybe. And I think one possible silver lining, if you can have one in a 14-0 game, as swung on and missed strike 2 to Morissette, is that they faced a couple really good pitchers tonight in Lardner and Johnson. I think more of the red flag for the Commodores is the pitching that's gotten racked. But if you look offensively, the Doors have really been getting some good momentum, and they just faced a couple of absolutely outstanding pitchers in Bourne tonight that really silenced the bats. I don't think that the offensive struggles are here to stay. I think, if anything, they just have to be extra aware of the pitchers trying to be more consistent.
2-2 from Mullen is a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. So back-to-back foul balls from Cody Morissette keeps the count even. Bases are empty. And with this deficit, Mullen is going to hang on and continue to be pitching, just needing 2 more outs. The 2-2. Down in the zone, ball 3. Not doing himself any favors by getting into 3 3-ball counts. Payoff pitch. Inside ball 4, another base runner reaches here in the 8th inning on the second walk administered by Mullen.
Now pinch hitting, number 2 from Fordham University, Jake McKenzie.
8 runs in innings 7 and 8, as if Bourne needed insurance. They add 4 more here in the 8th inning. And Danny, this inning still feels so far from over. Just 1 down.
And again, Mullen not helping himself out with the walks as he fires a strike over the inside part of the plate to a new pinch hitter, Jake McKenzie, right-handed bat from Fordham University. That pitch skips in the dirt. Ball on a strike. Mullen been pitching from the stretch pretty much all inning long. Again here as he fires a fastball down around the ankles of McKenzie, but he swings and fouls it away.
Jake McKenzie from Fordham had a .305 average sophomore year with the Rams. He's batting .263 this summer. Little 4-game hit streak for McKenzie.
Here's the 1-2. Another low pitch that he fouls it away. Mullen went off speed. Jake led Fordham in stolen bases, triples, and was second in average this past year. That's a pretty good Fordham team as well. The 1-2. Another foul ball. So even when Mullen's throwing strikes, nothing is easy.
So now 4 pinch hitters for the Braves in this half inning. And we saw some pinch hitters at the beginning, and we thought, okay, we'll see a couple guys. But, I mean, they're about to bat around the order. This is batter number 7 in the 8th.
Another 1-2 from Mullen. Breaking ball fouled away again. Jake McKenzie not quitting.
Danny, also worth noting that last year the Commodores were one of just a couple teams to never lose a game by double digits. Their biggest loss of the year was 8-0 to Harwich on June 17th. As that ball spikes way in the dirt. Nice stop by Troy Clonch. But this is set to be, if they don't score anything in the top of the 9th, their largest margin of defeat since 2017.
The 2-2. Down and away again. Full count. What is that? 4 full counts in this inning. 2 walks have been allowed. One of the full counts led to a hit. At this point for the Doors and for Sean Mullen, it's just get out of Dodge in any way you can. Payoff pitch. A foul ball again that nearly takes off a couple of Bourne Braves' heads. McKenzie's been out ahead on every single pitch that he's swung at. Righty-righty matchup. McKenzie with that back elbow cocked. Here's the 3-2, and again he's out ahead of it. Again grounds it over towards his own dugout.
Even with a couple of those sharp ground balls towards the Bourne Braves, you think in a 14-0 game, that's kind of a funny thing, and McKenzie is locked in. I mean, he is not smirking whatsoever. He really wants to hit in this at-bat, and he's swinging the bat like he does. This is going to be pitch number 10 from Mullen.
Mullen locked in as well. Here's the pitch. Misses up and away, ball 4. The base runners just continue to reach, and Sean Mullen is just really lost out there.
We're going to get another visit from Landry and possibly a call to the bullpen as he looks out to right field to the Falmouth pen. Runners on first and second now, Danny. Still just 1 out. He's thrown close to 40 pitches in this half inning, and it's only 1 down.
It was 10-0 when he came in. All he had to do was get 3 outs in any way he could. They didn't want to use any more arms. They didn't want to have to use his arm as much as they did. But, hey, that's what you got to do when he can't get outs. At this point, it's just let's get back on the bus and get back down south to Falmouth. But at the same time, you got to finish the game first. And in a 14-0 deficit, Sean Mullen couldn't buy the last 2 outs, as now they'll be heading to yet another reliever.
It's going to be Caleb Worcester from UConn, Danny, but 40 pitches even for Mullen in just a third of an inning of work. He gives up 4 earned runs, walks 3, gives up 2 singles and a grand slam. That is a rough day at the office.
So the office is still ablaze as Caleb Worster is called out to just put out the fire, and we'll head to a quick break as Worster warms up here in the 8th inning. It's 14-0 Bourne, but you didn't need to be reminded. We'll be right back.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
The 99 Restaurant is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit them in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth this summer and try some local flavor from the winner of the Cape Times' Best Restaurant for Takeout. The 99, always the real deal.
We are still in the 8th inning as we return to Durand Park in Bourne, Massachusetts. Caleb Worster is going to be the reliever as he comes on for Sean Mullen, who couldn't buy those last 2 outs, allowed 4 runs on 3 hits, walked 3 batters as well, and Worster coming into a jam himself. Runners on first and second, 1 out here in the 8th.
So Sean Mullen came out with a 2.70 ERA on the summer and then gave up 4 in a third of an inning. Worcester's got a 2.84 ERA in 6 1/3 innings. He's only given up 2 earned runs, but I don't know. It seems like no one is safe right now for Falmouth, batters or pitchers. This has just been a dumpster fire of a game.
Big shout out to our 13 viewers still watching this ball game. That is just nothing has gone Falmouth's way. Everything has gone in the favor of Bourne. First pitch from Caleb Worster, swung on by Jared Poland and fouled away to the right side.
I'd be willing to bet that my dad is one of the 14 still listening.
13, because keep in mind, I have it pulled up on my computer in front of me.
Okay, smart. One of the 13. I shoot me a text if you are, Dad, but I would bet some money that he is.
You know who I also think is tuning in?
Who?
Perhaps Perry Florio.
Ooh.
0-1, grounded right at second base. This could be 2. Flip from Kendall to Cruz, on to first, and there we go. The 8th inning is finally over. Caleb Worster only throws a couple of pitches as he gets the 4-6-3 double play to end this marathon inning. To the 9th inning we go, 14-0 in favor of the Braves.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 20-plus seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for elite baseball training and college recruiting assistance. They build more varsity starters, all-state athletes, and college and professional ball players than anyone else in the country. With over 1,000 events nationwide for players in middle school and high school and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
final frame about to get underway here in Bourne. And thank goodness if you're a Falmouth Commodores fan or player, because this has been nothing good for the Doors this afternoon in Bourne. 14-0 in favor of the Braves. 14 runs on 13 hits, no errors. Falmouth, no runs on 3 hits, 2 errors. Maybe the most dominant performance we have seen from any one team against any other team all summer long.
Yeah, the only other one I can think of was a 15-1 win for Chatham against YD.
Swing and a miss. Kevin Kendall falls behind 0-1. Kendall came in to sub for Hayden Cantrell, so he's been inserted into the leadoff spot.
Can I take you around the Cape League real quick? Because we don't want to be here.
Yeah, why not? 0-1 misses inside.
14-0 lead for Bourne here at Durand Park. Harwich beat YD out at Red Wilson Field. That's a big win for the Mariners against the Red Hot Red Sox.
Here's the pitch, and the 1-1 fastball sits in for a strike.
5-1 lead for Catuit over Wareham. They would reclaim first place in the West with a win against the Gatemen. And Chatham with a 3-0 lead out at Orleans. That's already in the 7th inning with a 7 o'clock start, so pitchers dealing in that game.
The 1-2 down in the dirt. There are 2 teams that are off tonight.
Yep.
Brewster
Yep.
and Hyannis. Yes, of course. Can't forget them. Brewster and Hyannis are off tonight because every Monday night's supposed to be an off day in the month of July. But from this point on, every Monday night is going to be a game for at least the Commodores. Foul ball keeps the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. How about that? Catuit and Wareham, I feel like they've played like 5 times at this point.
You think so?
Yeah, they've played a ton. They played a home and home just recently, and they already had a game played before then. 2-2, fouled off of the glove of the catcher. That's Greer still behind home plate as we're still trying to see who's gone where in the field. But Greer, if he squeezes that, would have been a strikeout. Carl Johnson still on the mound for the Bourne Braves. 7 innings strong from their starter. So it's only been 2 for Johnson so far, who's let up 1 hit. Here's the 2-2, grounded towards the Falmouth dugout. Kendall putting together a good at-bat.
So from what I can tell, DiGiacomo's out in center. Brewster is at first base. I don't know, though. It looks like Kyler Fedko is still out in right field, despite being pinch hit for by Jake McKenzie.
Yeah, he definitely can't be out in right field. 2-2 is a huge looping breaking ball that stays high to the 5'10 Kendall. Kevin from UCLA batting 186 on the summer so far. Here's the payoff pitch. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Kendall is still jogging down to first base, thinking that that was ball 4, as that was maybe just a get-me-out-of-here call from Joe Peters. I've seen that fastball inside, called a ball multiple times tonight, but not this time around. Kendall is a strikeout victim.
Brings up another pinch hitter in Austin Langworthy, who came out to relieve out in left field.
First pitch strike comes into Austin Langworthy, gets a couple more chirps from the Falmouth dugout, who, despite being down 14 runs in the 9th inning, still hoping to get some life in there as they're upset with some calls. There's a ball, 1-1. Langworthy, who subbed in into left field, replaces Blake Dunn in the lineup. Here's the pitch. On the inside corner, another strike called. At this point, if you're a Commodore, just got to know that a little far inside, you got to be swinging.
Yeah, you got to protect, try to make something happen.
Here's the 1-2, just outside. Langworthy has struggled mightily this summer, batting average below 200, but he's putting together good swings lately and hasn't been striking out as much, most importantly. 2-2, he does right there, swings and misses at a low pitch down in the dirt, and that is back-to-back strikeouts to start off the 9th inning. The Doors are down to their final out.
So this is the most runs that Falmouth has given up in a game and the fewest that they have scored. Combine those two, you get the largest margin of defeat of the season as they are down to their final out with Barron Radcliffe at the plate.
It's got to be the least hits they've had all season, too, even in some of those 7-inning games. Barron takes a pitch high.
It is tied for the fewest hits that they've had. They had 3 hits in the 1-0 loss to Harwich, but remember that was a 7-inning game.
A home run hack taken by Radcliffe on that pitch comes up empty. A ball and a strike to the left-handed bat from Georgia Tech, batting 143. Late on that pitch, it's 1-2, and the Doors are down to their final strike. Utter dominance on display from the Bourne Braves tonight as they lead 14-0 and try to cap off a shutout victory over the Doors. Here's the pitch from Johnson. Fly ball on the infield. This stays in fair territory, calling for it and making the grab over at first base. That will retire the side as Brewster puts the squeeze on the baseball, and we have finally seen the end of this ball game. Nothing really going right for the Commodores here on this Monday night in Bourne. They score no runs on 3 hits and commit 2 errors, lose 14